2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
From the Play Show, yet not overly ostentatious studios of the Infinity Sports Network here in beautiful New York City, sitting on top of the 10th floor of 345 Hudson Street. Welcome on in to what is a Football Friday edition of the Zach Gelb Show across all the great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 375, the free Odyssey app, the free iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube. 888-710-4ISN is the number to jump on in. That's 888-710-4476. You could always get at me on Instagram, where I'm straight flexing, or via the good old cesspool of Twitter, at Zach Gelb. That, of course, is ZACHGELB. Or you can catch us on TikTok, baby. We're Samter and Stewart dancing at the Zach Gelb Show. We got a whole lot to do today. We're rocking and rolling all the way up until 6 p.m. Eastern, 3 p.m. Pacific time. Adam Carriker is going to join us coming up at 4 p.m. Eastern time, the former Nebraska first-round pick. He will stop by as we'll preview Nebraska and Michigan. Big 3:30 kick coming up this weekend tomorrow. And then at 4:20 p.m. Eastern time, hopefully he doesn't sleep through the interview. Hopefully he is up. Hopefully he is alert. Hopefully he is ready to go. Andrew and Perloff from the Maggie and Perloff Show will be our guest picker this week as we'll continue our NFL picks competition as we do all throughout the regular season. I got to start with the game last night. Did anyone want to win that game? That's just my question. Because let's start with the Buffalo Bills. I think most talk show hosts today are going to start with the Miami Dolphins. Just a quick note on the Buffalo Bills. Anytime they had a chance to really blow open that game, anytime they had a chance to really make it a 2-score lead and take a commanding 2-score lead, the Buffalo Bills weren't able to do that. You know, there were moments in the game early where it looked like it was going to get ugly. It was 14-7. The Bills were driving. Their drive then stalls. All right, at least you'll get a field goal. And Matt Prater, who was money in week 1, well, in week 3, that ball looked like one of my drives that I shank when I play golf. because the ball he kicked early on in the first half was nowhere even close to having a chance to go through. So that was one moment where you said to yourself, okay, let's see how the Dolphins respond. The Dolphins did end the half to their credit. Tyreek Hill did play well in that first half. And anytime there was a third down or a clutch play in that first half, Tyreek Hill made it. And you walked into halftime and you looked at that game being 14-14. And I'm sitting there thinking to myself, I reversed my survivor pick. I had the Seahawks. I ended up going with the Buffalo Bills. This is a little tight for my liking because it feels like the Buffalo Bills should be up by at least a touchdown, bare minimum. And in the second half, there are two opportunities where Miami had opportunities to take control of the momentum of the game. Opportunity number one, they finally got off the field. The punter is on the field for the Buffalo Bills. And you have a captain in Zach Sealer, who's a very underrated football player. He made an egregious mistake. You can't run into the punter there. And it wasn't even bang, bang. Like, okay, at least you had a chance to block the punt. It was almost if the punt went in the air, and then it was 1 Mississippi, 2 Mississippi, boom, punter smacked. And that gave the ball right back to the Buffalo Bills. And Josh Allen, when you give him a second opportunity, he's going to make you pay. And that game then got to 28-21. So that was mistake number one for the Miami Dolphins. And then mistake number two, I know they probably would have scored too early, and it probably would have been too early to go for two, but you're getting late in that fourth quarter. And you see Tua going on this drive, and the Dolphins are moving the ball, matriculating the ball down the field, and it's a one-score game. Bare minimum, they're going to tie this baby up. And right as it looks like, okay, here come the Miami Dolphins, where I will even say, going into the fourth quarter, I sent out a tweet, and I said, I'm really impressed with the Dolphins' effort tonight. Because that was a team that it appeared through the first two games, they quit on their coach. Their quarterback doesn't have a damn clue what to do now in these first 2 weeks of the season. You have Tyreek Hill already complaining on the sideline. And I thought it was weird, by the way, on Amazon. Not that I'm defending Tyreek Hill. I can't stand his guts. But you had all game to talk about the domestic violence allegations. To wait to the fourth quarter, it just seemed out of place. I'm not saying bury it. I'm not saying don't talk about it. I'm not a fan of Tyreek Hill. I think Tyreek Hill is a despicable human being. But isn't that more of a pregame story or a first half story? Amazon had that story in the bag for the start of the fourth quarter. But anyway, I digress. Tua's moving the ball down the field. Going into that fourth quarter, you thought to yourself, I really like the Dolphins' effort. They at least are showing some toughness. They're at least responding. And I don't know how this fourth quarter is going to finish. But two mistakes ruined all those good feelings. And I know you could sit there and say, Zach, you love to kill the coach. So now you're going to kill the coach again. The coach wasn't horrible last night. But isn't the coach the representative of your team? And what I saw late in that game was bad decision-making from the quarterback and then also an undisciplined football team. The Sealer roughing it, running into the punter is unacceptable. It can't happen. I would almost rather just tell everyone, don't even try to go for the punter. We are getting the ball back. The game is tied. We have a chance to take the lead. Don't do anything stupid. Right? What did I tell you as a kid? KISS. Keep it simple. And they said silly instead of stupid when you were growing up and you were 7 or 8 years old. Or should I say 6 or 7 years old? Do you get the joke there? Probably not. But anyway, you have that moronic penalty, and then you follow it up with Tua right when it's a positive night for the Dolphins, right? They're responding for their coach. They're showing up. And Tua's actually playing well. It's looking like the Tua that we thought he was going to be coming out of Alabama. And did Tua tell the linebacker for Buffalo that he was going to throw him the football? Was he telegraphing that throw? God bless him. I love Kurt Warner. Kurt has been on this show many, many times. I am not a huge fan of Emmanuel Acho, so I think it's ironic me saying this. Emmanuel Acho's crushing Tua last night, and Kurt Warner is defending him. Now, Kurt Warner is a Hall of Famer. Kurt Warner has won a Super Bowl. Kurt Warner has been to 3 Super Bowls. Kurt Warner has been an MVP, right? He knows the quarterback position. I watched Kurt's video. I watched his commentary. I don't understand how you defended Tua. He telegraphed that throw. I've watched that, and I'm not a quarterback. I don't know how to accurately throw a football. I've watched that 10,000 times. I still don't understand what Tua Tagovailoa is doing. So here you are for 3.5 quarters where the Dolphins are a feel-good story in week 3. Oh, look at the gritty Miami Dolphins. Oh, they're showing up. They're having a pulse. All that stuff, it evaporates into thin air with how they lost that game. It's not because they lost, right? I thought the Bills were going to win the game. Game was a lot closer than I thought it was going to be. But it's how they lost. It's an undisciplined football team. Zach Sealer making a stupid decision. Tua Tagovailoa with an ill-advised throw. And all that momentum, all that positivity that you had with the Miami Dolphins, what does it mean? You're 0-3. This is not the startup Miami Dolphins, okay, folks? Mike McDaniel has been around the block here now for 3-4 years. This group, this core has been together for the last 2 to 4 years. And you don't take moral victories when you're that far in to this run that they have. This is go time. This is go make the playoffs. You start 0-3, the odds aren't in your favor to make the playoffs. I don't care if you have the Jets and the Panthers as your next 2 games. And why should I believe, even with the fact that the Jets, I don't even know who's going to be starting at quarterback. The Panthers look like they're one of, if not the worst team in football. Why should I expect that the Dolphins will definitely win both of those games? But it's amazing to me. You know, everyone loves Ryan Fitzpatrick. I'm not a huge fan. I like Tony Gonzalez. I think Richard Sherman's good on that show. I like Big Wit, Andrew Whitworth. But the guys doing the pregame, halftime, and postgame show, do they actually watch the game? Because I'll admit it, in the postgame, the takes I heard, it was almost like they didn't watch the fourth quarter. Because my take going into the fourth quarter did line up with, it feels like a good gritty effort. What you would say is the making, even if they lose the game, of a moral victory. But how they lost in the fourth quarter, if I'm a fan of the Miami Dolphins, which I'm not, I don't want to tune into that postgame show on Amazon Prime and hear, basically this is a moral victory. How proud we are of the Dolphins for showing up. They're 0-3. And you're now 3 to 4 years into this regime and into this core. That's unacceptable. I get it. The Bills are one of the best teams in football. But just showing up, just having a pulse with how you lost that game in a game you could have easily won with the dumb penalty by Zach Sealer, with Tua Tagovailoa at this stage of his career, he can't throw that interception. Whether you want to defend him or not, he can't throw that interception in that spot. You got to give your team a chance. So all that stuff goes out the window. I don't want to hear because the Dolphins showed up and the Dolphins competed hard that now all of a sudden Mike McDaniel and Chris Greer are no longer on the hot seat, or you could kick that conversation down the road for a few weeks. Nonsense. What are they talking about on Prime Video last night after the game? You're telling me that conversation goes away for a few weeks? What happens if they lose to the Jets next week? You don't tell me when they're sitting there at 0-4 that people aren't going to be calling to fire Mike McDaniel, to fire Chris Greer, and Chris Greer's had that job for way too many years for it to begin with? You tell me even if they beat the Jets and they're 1-3 and then they lose to the Carolina Panthers that, all that conversation goes away? Nonsense. Come on. I don't want to hear about a moral victory last night. I don't want to hear about how the coach and the GM are no longer on the hot seat. They lost the game. I get it, it's Buffalo. But how they lost that game with how long and how experienced this core has been together, that's inexcusable. I understand The Bills could go to the Super Bowl this year. The Dolphins probably aren't going to the playoffs, but you can't run into the punter. You can't give the Bills defense an easy interception. They were sweating. You had them on the ropes. Heck, the Bills are my survivor pick. I don't want to see the Dolphins win. But the ineptitude of the Dolphins, even on a night where the Dolphins are playing well for 3.5 quarters, it shows you why the Dolphins are the Dolphins. They're not winners. The Dolphins are losers. That's what they are. And even in a night where they're getting praised for 85, 90% of the broadcast, they show you at the end of the day why this group with Mike McDaniel, why this group with Chris Greer, why this group with Tua Tagovailoa, while this group with Stephen Ross, the owner, are a bunch of losers because they don't know how to win. Even in a night that felt like it should have been positive because, woohoo, yay, 2 thumbs up, they gave good effort. Come on. This team's 4 years in now with this group. I don't want to hear about good effort. You could have won that game. You could have surprised people. You could have pulled off the upset. The Bills, their legs were wobbly. They were sweating. They were afraid. They were nervous. They were about to get knocked out in week 3. Or at least it was going to go to the final round. That game had a chance to go to overtime. And you let them off the hook. That's what you did. Now I sound like Denny Green. But you let them off the hook. Running into the punter when you're off the field and you stop Josh Allen. Tua Tagovailoa basically saying, here's a free interception. You had a chance. And as Adam Sandler would say, you blew it! It is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We'll take a timeout. If you want to react to the Dolphins and Bills, 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. When we come on back, who has the most to prove in college football this weekend? We'll skip around the room next.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
For someone that doesn't have ADD, I feel like at times I have it. At least in terms of this job and when I'm here and when I'm hosting this radio show. So Samter just gave me the ultimate tease during the break, and now I can't get it off my mind, and it's probably going to distract me for, I don't want to say the rest of the show, but until we end up playing said audio. So Samter has procured audio of Shep. And I don't know what the audio is of Shep, but Samter said it has something to do with his musical talents. So I'm going to assume, and you know what happens when you assume, you can make an ass out of you and me, that it's another Shep rap. Now, I don't know when this rap would have occurred because we played a Shep rap from over the weekend. I know Shep was hosting at some point this week. I think he was filling in for Bart, I want to say, or JR. Or maybe it was at some other point during the weekend. But Samter has informed me that there is some rap or some lyrical thing that did happen with David Shepard. And you think I'm going to get a kick out of this, Samter? You think I'm going to enjoy this audio?
No.
Really?
No.
Oh, I thought Shep was improving last time on the last rap.
You're not going to enjoy it for a variety of reasons.
Oh,
One,
boy.
because it's bad. But two, you might be involved.
I'm involved?
Uh-oh.
You might be involved.
Did he do a diss track about me?
I'll let you listen to it.
No, I don't want to hear it yet, though.
I'm just telling you, you are probably not going to enjoy this one.
Okay. I don't think Shep could do anything that would actually make me mad if I'm just being honest. If he wants to talk about me, go ahead, talk about it. Like, I don't care. I would actually, honestly, if Shep did a diss track about me, I would actually be thrilled about it. I really would. But it's a good tease. And I thought it was very funny that you told me about this 2 minutes before we got back from break, and then I played 21 questions with you, and you wouldn't give me anything, and then you just give me that little nugget right there. So we'll play that coming up in a news brief in a little bit. Getting to college football. Who has the most to prove this weekend, whether it's a player, whether it's a coach, or whether it's a team. We will skip around the room here. I'm going to start off. We'll give you 2 answers each. I'm going Nebraska. Nebraska has a lot on the line. Nebraska's been waiting for a winner, waiting for a really good football team once again. There's several steps in this Matt Rule process, right? He was taking over a program that was just in a disastrous state because Scott Frost, the former legend of that program, or a legendary player of that program, is a disaster as a head coach. Scott Frost just did a brutal, and I mean a brutal job for Nebraska. He was the guy that was supposed to bring Nebraska back. Year 1 was okay for Nebraska with Matt Rule. Then year 2, they finally get back to a bowl game. They win a bowl game. For other schools, that seems like it's irrelevant. For Nebraska, it's not. But they've started the year off 3-0. They haven't played the best competition in the world, but they are bludgeoning teams. And now you have a big program coming in. I know Michigan is not Michigan from a few years ago, but you do have a phenomenal young quarterback in Bryce Underwood. You have 2 good running backs that the Wolverines do have. A win for Nebraska at home up against Michigan would be enormous. And Michigan is vulnerable. Michigan is there for the taking. When Oklahoma played Michigan, I wasn't even all that impressed with Oklahoma. I was more concerned about what Michigan was looking like. And I think Michigan is really a next year team. But there is a golden opportunity here for Nebraska. And you're at home. Your fan base is just dying for a big victory. Last year, their big victory was really up against Colorado, and it showed the growth from one year to another. This one would mean even so much more. And if I'm a Nebraska fan, and I'm sitting there and you don't win on Saturday, you're going to say to yourself, well, when are they ever going to beat a school like Michigan? So there's a lot on the line this weekend for Nebraska. So that's someone that I'm just very, very curious what they're going to be able to prove this upcoming weekend. Stu, who's your first player, coach, or team?
All right, my team here is going to be Auburn. Obviously, they've gone off to a nice 3-0 start. They had a nice win against Baylor week 1, and then they played Ball State and South Alabama week 2 and 3. So you got that 3-0 start. Now they have at Oklahoma, and that is a big matchup for Hugh Freeze and company. And you look at Jackson Arnold, the quarterback, playing against this old team, the team that he had to transfer away from to get playing time. We'll see if this is the real Auburn, and this is the start of a very tough stretch. They have A&M and Georgia the next 2 games after Oklahoma, so they really have to prove to me that they're ranked 22 right now, that they can stick in the top 25.
Samter, what do we got cooking here for your first one?
I mean, I have to go with my guy, Sam Levitt.
Who is your guy this week?
This week I'm going back to the roots. Yeah, I'm going back to BU football. Let's go Boston University football that hasn't existed since 97.
At least they're undefeated. You can't mush them.
We haven't lost in about 30 years. It's fantastic. But no, I'm going Sam Levitt, Heisman candidate before the season, in the mix for a top 15, top 20 kind of pick in the NFL draft. He's been okay. He really was terrible in the first half against Mississippi State, but the second half he was right back to being the guy that he was supposed to be. Led them to what should have been a win. They got stuffed at the goal line 4 times. Otherwise, they would have won that game. At the end of the day, he played well. When the chips were down, he played really well in the second half, which gave me hope. He's been inconsistent against 2 really not great opponents, so this is going to be a big test for him going up against Baylor and Sawyer Robertson to kind of prove that he is the class of that conference.
Yeah, and both of those schools have losses to SEC schools, like you're saying, Mississippi State, where Arizona State did go down to, and then Baylor earlier in the season to kick off the season on that Friday night. They did lose to Auburn. So one loss doesn't kill your season, but since now this is a Big 12 game, and this would be the team that loses their second loss in the season, it almost feels as if, because, hey, you lose one, let's say that's the only Big 12 loss of the year for Arizona State. You could still go on and win the conference, but it does feel, because this is a Big 12 matchup, and how top-heavy the Big 12 is and how much uncertainty there is, where there's like 7 or 8 schools that you walked into the season saying, okay, they could win the Big 12. It does feel like if your goal is to go to the college football playoff, that this is almost an elimination game that you're going to see between Arizona State and Baylor. All righty, my next one, it's going to be Texas Tech. I could easily say Utah, and Utah last year had a disappointing season. Devin Dampier has been really good to start this season, but I think there's more pressure on Texas Tech, because they went all in this offseason. They are printing money with the Red Raiders. And we had Joey McGuire on, and we talked about all the high expectations, and people are saying this is the year that they have to go show that Texas Tech is going to be back, and Texas Tech is going to take that chance to go win a Big 12 championship and make the college football playoff. And Behren Morton's off to a really good start to the season. They're 3-0. This is the opportunity to show that you're a big boy football program in the Big 12. Like the first 3 games of the season, it's nice that you've had 3 lopsided victories. They played AR Pine Bluff. I think I'm saying that correctly. They played Kent State. And then they played Oregon State, but Oregon State is nothing to really take seriously. So you have Utah here. If you beat Utah, then you play Houston, Kansas, Arizona State, Oklahoma State, Kansas State, BYU, UCF, and West Virginia. That opens a road where right now you don't have another top 25 ranked team. Arizona State is good, but they're not in the top 25. Kansas, see what happens with Lance Leipold, but they're not in the top 25. Kansas State, they're starting to look like they're the Florida State of last year. They're 1-3, the Wildcats. Back-to-back losses to Army and Arizona. They started the season in Dublin, losing to Iowa State and Rocco Beck 24-21. Their only win is North Dakota, and they were lucky to win that game, only winning it by 3 points. So I look at Texas Tech. This is an opportunity up against a good, not a great, but a good Utah team to show, okay, the hype was valid this offseason, and we are here, and we are the real deal. So I'll go with the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. Stu, who's your next one?
All right, my next one is Missouri, and I always get intrigued when some of these bottom half SEC teams reach the top 25, especially early in the season. Similar to my previous answer of Auburn, Missouri 3-0. Again, the schedule, not crazy. They beat Central Arkansas, Kansas, which I guess is a halfway decent win since they're at least a Power 5 school, and then Louisiana in week 3. Bo Perillo's look pretty good at quarterback, but again, you're playing South Carolina. Lenore Sellers, the latest is that he's on track to play, so It looks like he'll probably play. You host them, so at least it's a home game. But again, Missouri ranked for the first time this year, and I'm curious to see if they can stay ranked.
And Ahmad Hardy, their running back, first 3 weeks of the season, he's had at least 100-plus rushing yards in all 3 of those games, 100 yards on 10 carries, 1 touchdown in game number 1. Game number 2 had 25 carries for 112 yards and a touchdown. And then last week, he had 22 carries for 250 yards and 3 touchdowns. One of those long runs, his longest run of the game, did go for 71. So that's a good one there with Missouri. I think a little out of the box here in terms of the national landscape, but it is still definitely a good one. All righty, Samter, take us home here.
And just a reminder, who had Ahmad Hardy as one of his studs this week?
That would be you.
That would be me.
It was good. At least you had a good stud in week 2 of, with coinciding with the NFL season, because week 1, I thought your NFL stud was embarrassing.
You know what? I'm going to pick a stud from a losing team for the rest of the season.
Don't do that. I like to have good radio segments.
Whatever. We'll argue with this for the rest of our life. You could be a stud and lose. I'm okay with that.
You were moral victory guy in week 1.
It's an individual award. Who cares if you win or lose the game?
Did you give a stud to Aaron Rodgers?
For that game?
Yeah.
Never.
Okay, so that was my gripe with you.
I think
you gave the stud to the loser rather to the guy that won the game and played just as good, if not better.
I thought that Justin Fields was better than Rodgers in the game.
Well, you wear glasses and you live in Never Neverland. It's fine.
I mean, I have been told that I can.
And I know I wear glasses. I'm like magical glasses that you just see what you want to see.
Yeah. So people have confused me with the Lost Boy before. It's perfect.
Okay. Who's your final one here?
I'm going DJ Lagway. 5 picks last week. There's so much pressure on Napier for sure, but they did bring in like a 4-star freshman. I forget his name, Trammell, I think. And he looked really good in the offseason. He looked really good in camp. I'm not saying that Lagway loses his job, but I mean, if he has another huge stinker and throws 3 or 4 more picks, the dude doesn't really run the ball. I think he had 100 yards rushing last year. He doesn't run the ball, so it's not like this is a guy that, like, he's not going to do well with his arm, but he'll still dominate with his legs. If he's not making throws, if he's not throwing touchdowns, if he's not accurate in the pocket, he's not effective. And so he's got a lot of pressure on him.
All righty, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network, and I'm hoping that's going to be a good game between Florida and Miami. Hopefully it's like the Bills and the Dolphins, right? Where it's a game that a lot of people think is going to be lopsided, and then it ends up being closer than what a lot of people end up thinking. All righty. We'll take a timeout. When we come on back, we'll get to whatever this mysterious audio is that has to involve Shep that Samter keeps on teasing right over my cabeza. Plus, you will hear from the Dolphins and the Bills and a lot more happening in the NFL and college football world. We'll update some of the biggest stories of the world of sports with some audio next. That is called the News Brief. Update time first, though. Here's the Act Man, Rich Ackerman.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And it's brought to you by Old Trapper. Listen up, because not all beef jerky is the same. Old Trapper is better for you and higher in essential protein than chips, sugar-filled energy bars, or candy. So ask for Old Trapper by name, because no other jerky compares. Old Trapper, what's your beef? The Commanders will start Marcus Mariota Sunday against the Raiders. Jaden Daniels was limited due to a sprained knee, and he will sit out for the first time in his young career. Joe Burrow underwent surgery on his toe today. There is no timeline on his return. J.J. McCarthy has been ruled out, while Christian Darrisaw is questionable. And the Patriots' Christian Gonzalez is questionable after missing the first 2 games. And Parker Romo will be handling the Falcons' kicking duties on Sunday. Clayton Kershaw was the dominant pitcher of his generation. The 37-year-old 3-time Cy Young Award winner announced yesterday this will be his last season. The 11-time All-Star will make his final start tonight at Dodger Stadium when they host the Giants. LA holds a 3-game lead over the Padres in the NL West. San Diego will be in Chicago to face the White Sox. And with 9 games left, the Mariners and Houston are tied for the lead in the AL West. The Astros will host Seattle tonight. I'm Rich Ackerman.
This is the Infinity Sports Network. Follow us on X. Our handle is INF Sports Network. That's INF Sports Network on X.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
Oh, why, hello. Howdy. It's the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. It's time to ask the pros, or you, the listener, gets to ask us a question, brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. Simply tweet your question at INFSportsNet or at Zach Gelb using the hashtag #AskThePros. Be listening later in the program when we might answer your question. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. O'Reilly Auto Parts. Without further ado, and I'm not talking about Freddie Adu, it's time to get to a news brief.
Extra, extra, read all about it. Extra, extra, read all about it.
Time for your daily news brief. We get you caught up on the rumors, reports, and reconnaissance from the day in sports.
Waiting on the world to change. Come on. So Santer's telling me about this audio. Let's just get to it right out of the gate. How many audio clips here are there, Shep? There's two?
There are two.
Which one do you want to play first?
Well, so first he starts talking about how he starts talking about his first rap.
Okay.
And then he raps later on.
Gotcha.
So we'll start with the first one.
Let's hear audio number one.
I got called out this week by a host for my rap game. Did you know that?
No way. The freestyles you've been giving me are pretty good.
See, I don't think they're terrible. I don't think they're great. I don't think they're terrible.
And they're true freestyles. There's no writing involved.
Yeah, so I got to do another one. And we got to put this on film and we got to put it out there and we got to let the audience decide. Because I think one particular show is a little too critical when it comes to my rapping ability.
May I ask which show?
Evan, you've been here long enough. What show do you think is taking? What show do you think is taking shots at me? If you best guess, and I'm not gonna confirm or deny. What show do you think is going out of their way to diss my diss tracks and take a swipe at my rapping ability?
It's got to be the shows around your show. I'm gonna think Bart Winkler, maybe Pat Boyle.
Oh my God.
Not even close.
Was I not close?
Yeah.
Not even close. No.
It wouldn't be JR.
No. JR.
Come on.
JR would never do that.
Maggie and Perloff?
And by the way, I want to be very clear. No, Maggie and Perloff wouldn't do that. I want to be very clear on this. If they want to do that, it's fair game. Fair game. I just think you're being a little critical of my rapping ability. I would like to see any one of those three, and this should be your hint, Evan Harkin. I'd like to see one of those three gentlemen get up on a microphone and show their rapping and freestyling ability. I think I can do better than those three. I mean, they were critical of me, so I'm just putting it out there. Don't come after my rap game. Because coming after my rap game, you better put something forward, and I don't think you guys can do that. So I will come up with a rap that is going to be better. I'm not completely happy with what I was able to do behind the microphone last time.
Can I send the
think
rent
it could
check
be a little more smooth.
to
I
him?
absolutely flubbed the last line,
I
but
have
I think
rent
they
in
were
his
being
head.
a little bit too harsh on my rap game. So, Evan, what we're going to do is we're going to film me coming back from break, and I'm going to put up a freestyle. I don't have any papers in front of me. It's going to be completely from the dome, completely from the mind, even though I'm mean and I'm not kind. See, that was my little rap. That was my little practice right there.
my God,
So we're going to have fun with that.
Stop. Please make it stop.
Who's the show you think he's talking about?
He's talking about three people, right? It's got to be Bill Ryder, Bogish, and Hickey, right? It's obviously us. So just say it's us. All right? I hate when talk show hosts do that. I'm not going to talk about the show, but I'm going to basically just say what they... Just talk about us. That's fine. And stop being so sensitive. And you know what? Folks, I'm going to be a team player here. I'm going to be a locker room leader. Breathe in. Breathe out. Breathe in. Breathe out. Now, hold on. I see Santa breathing in. Stu, were you breathing in there?
Yeah, I'm breathing.
Sorry, I didn't really see it. Well, guys, let's do a collective breathe because Shep really hurt our feelings there talking about us three. So one more time. Breathe in. Hold it. Breathe out. It's like Stu on a Friday night.
Puff, puff, give.
Wouldn't it be puff, puff, pass?
Well, give is the same thing. Puff, puff,
okay.
pass. Puff,
I've never
puff,
heard
give.
someone say puff, puff, give. Here's the thing, though. Shep texted me, and he was actually praising me for how I complimented him or I was fair to him for his rapping game when we played you the only rap I thought that was out there on Monday. And he's taking some ambiguous shots at us? Ooh. I got thick skin, so I don't care. And also, I kind of feel bad for the producer. Because that kid Evan's very nice. It's a hardworking kid. And Shep, because he's afraid to just say our name for some reason, he then wants the producer to just say our name. What's the big deal? So that was number one. And I don't think any of us are really unfair to Shep. The first rap that we played, ironically, see, Samter always does this where he crushes people, and then I get held accountable for what Samter did. I didn't think it was good. I wasn't the Simon Cowell of the group. I was like Randy Jackson. I was like, that's a no for me, dog. Sweet Stu was like Paula Abdul. Samter was the one that was like a prick about it for crying out loud. I could say that.
Sure, but I mean...
You were the one, though, that was being like Simon Cowell.
Sure.
And then because Shep thinks I control everything you do, and I control the words that comes out of your mouth. This
You don't?
is the first time that we had an issue with Shep. That therefore I get held accountable for the actions of Samter. Like, remember that time you put a lower third that he didn't like? And then the next thing you know, he's like, I can't believe you allowed. I go, I didn't even know it was up there. Half the times, like, when a guest, Danny Cannell, remember when he was driving on Zoom with us? I had no clue. Like, the monitors to my right, I'm just talking to the guest. I'm barely even looking at him. So that was number one. I'm not, whatever. I thought it was kind of funny. But he's talking like 3,000 miles an hour about this rap, just trying to justify and get validation that his rapping is actually good. So what's the second part here? I haven't heard any of this.
This is the actual rap.
Okay. Let's get to the actual rap then.
Yeah. Shep here, sitting in the studio, knowing that I like to rap and all the time. Knowing that my rap is going to be better. I know that I have the flavor in a sweater. I'm sitting here talking about Jordan Love, going against Jaden. He was so good against Jaden that he just ended up playing. Sitting here talking sports as much as I can. I know that I like to think that I know that I'm a Dan. What we can sit here on the rap all the time. I like to think that I'm a little better than what I propose. Sitting here, the rap is getting better. All I know is whether I'm in a shirt or a sweater. I like to think Jordan Love with the Packers is the real deal. All I know is in the fourth quarter, he is the ultimate seal. And what you do is you go to the phone line because you know they're smooth and they know they can rhyme. I know my rap is not the greatest ever, but that's okay because I'm on to my next endeavor. I like to give a shout out to the Zach Gelb Show. I know that they are always on the go. They travel, they read, they sing, and they dance. Always take life as a risk or a chance. This is the end of my silly little rap. Thank you for paying attention and making sure that you're not booing, but you clap.
Let's clap. Everyone clap. I want everyone clapping.
Boo.
No. Samter, don't boo. I am here to support our teammate David Shepard. Let's clap. I cannot condone what Samter does. He is booing right now. I am cheering. I thought that was sensational. 10 out of 10. I'd give him the golden ticket.
He said sweater twice. Who uses sweater in a rap twice?
My favorite part about his first commentary is like, I'd like to see one of those three guys rap. We don't want to rap.
No, and neither should he.
And honestly, I think Stu, after he takes one puff, could rhyme better than what Shep just did right there.
Could you imagine Gallo and Stu rapping together?
Yeah.
Bro, let's go.
Shep, do some more prep. Alrighty, let's go to Josh Allen. What has he seen from the Bills in the first 3 games?
We're obviously doing our job, going 1-0 each week. Still a lot to learn from, a lot to grow, a lot of room for growth in this group. A lot of young guys, but guys are stepping up. There's been some guys down with injuries, and guys are stepping up and making some big-time plays for us, especially on the defensive side of the ball. Yeah, I mean, it's a close unit that's gelling together really well right now, and got to keep finding ways to win football games.
And let's go to Terrell Bernard, who had the game-winning interception as Tua Tagovailoa gave him an early Christmas gift. Here is Terrell Bernard.
It's honestly something that we have seen on tape. It's a common route around the league. But, I want to give a shout-out to Al Holcomb, the linebackers coach. He put it on tape a few times. We've worked that play. Our offense runs that play. And he basically told me, like, if I see it, go. And, I think they ended up jumping the back, got to like a 3x1 or a 2x2 snug set. And, that's like I said, it's one of their top quick game concepts. We're in a 3-deep zone and, just saw it and broke on it.
Let's go to Mike McDaniel in the final interception.
I wanted to protect the ball. I wish I could, I think the quarterback has to be responsible for it. However, I wish I could just put it on him, but I think it's a tough job to do when there's someone in your face. We need everybody needs to do better, and we can't. If you got to ditch the ball to the flat in moments like that, and that's what we have to learn from.
I'm sorry. Anytime now I hear Mike McDaniel speak, all I hear is the uhs. I know he's being critical of his quarterback there pretty much, and then also Rex Ryan just saying nerd. Here is Tua Tagovailoa. Is this a moral victory?
No moral victories, that's for sure. There's definitely some things that we can take away that is good, that's up to par within our standard of how we operate within the offense. And then, with how the defense wants to operate as well, getting the stops. When they get those stops, we got to capitalize on that and allow ourselves to get points when we get those opportunities. Never good to lose, regardless of how a certain individual may have felt they performed. This is a team sport. We win together, we lose together.
And then I saw Craig Carden called Tua Tagovailoa, Tua turn the ball over. Let's hear from Tua turn the ball over. I like that one from Craigie on the INT to end the game.
I thought I was in rhythm in timing of the play. Seeing the flat defender go over the top of Jalen. Jalen's turning around. I think that was a really good play by the defender. Had some color in my face trying to maneuver the throw as well. But 10 out of 10 times, if we're looking at that same thing, I think I'd still try to work that timing of hitting that spot. And I think the linebacker made a great play on that.
What Tua's doing, let's say you walk into a casino, you got $6,000 in your bank account, and he took out $5,800 and he lost all of it. And you shouldn't go back to go get that final 200. But what he did just there is went back, got the final 200, and is going to believe in his abilities. He would make that throw 10 out of 10 times. No accountability, just basically saying, oh, the defender made a heck of a play. What are you talking about? Joe Rose in the Joe Rose Show, Dolphins color analyst, former Miami Dolphin. He says Tua's arm strength is just not good enough.
He just doesn't have it. He just doesn't have it down the field. And I just figured out Mike's not going to make him throw stuff that he just can't do. And I think Mike's learning, like on deep throws, they might be short, so get ready to come back. And I just realized Chris must know, Mike must know, Tua can't make all the throws you need to make for what the weapons you have. You got too much horsepower for that guy to drive. He can't drive the car. It's got too much horsepower. He can't handle it. Can't handle it.
That's not an easy spot because I know he's talk show host, but he's the team color analyst on the radio broadcast. You don't usually hear those broadcasters be that honest. Good job by Joe Rose. And finally, Coach Prime, do you know who's going to start at quarterback this week for you guys?
Hey, Coach. Brian Howell, the Daily Camera. Just curious if you've decided what you're going to do with quarterback this week.
Yeah, most definitely I have. Yeah.
And then as a follow-up to that, don't know what your decision is, but like as far as Caden goes, what is something you need to see from him that you weren't seeing when he was in the start?
I think I just said a minute ago, leadership, right, is what I want to see from and consistency from all our guys, not just Caden. Leadership and consistency from all of our guys at that position.
There's just no plan. So you're bashing Caden Salter's leadership. You then went to Juju. I guess he wasn't ready because he's a freshman. Then you were hyping up Ryan Staub as if he was the successor or the guy that was going to replace Shedeur Sanders. And is he even going to play this? It doesn't sound like he's going to play this week, but who the heck knows? So what happens if you don't have Shedeur? You see the value of Shedeur. There is no plan at Colorado. They have 3 quarterbacks. You know what happens? If you have 3 quarterbacks, that means you have no quarterbacks. All righty, we'll take a break. Adam Carriker is going to join us next. Former Nebraska defensive lineman, was a first-round pick. Adam coming up in 5 minutes, and Andrew Perloff is going to join us at 4:20 p.m. Eastern Time as we'll do some picks with Andrew Perloff. Coming on back, this is the Zach Gelb Show.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, hour number 2. How do you do? It is the Zach Gelb Show right here on the Infinity Sports Network. Big weekend of college football. I'm going to be locked in tomorrow as you do have Michigan and Nebraska. Oh my goodness gracious, that's going to be a fun one. And you can just feel the buzz leading into that game because Nebraska is a program that has such a loyal fan base, and they've just been waiting and waiting and waiting and waiting to have something to be proud about. Like, they're always proud about their football team. They always support. They always show up. They always sell out. But there's a difference in just showing up to show up because you believe and you'll always support a team, and then you show up with the sense of, okay, we could win the game. And that's what the Nebraska fan feels like right now. They feel going into this Michigan game, I think, that they believe they could win and they believe they could beat Michigan this weekend. And on the other side, it's an enormous opportunity for Biff Poggi, who's filling in for Sharon Moore because Sharon Moore has a suspension. And you look at a Bryce Underwood, that's someone who was, I know we talk about Arch, all the hype that comes with Arch, but that was another one of those quarterbacks that we really hyped up heading into this season. And Bryce Underwood could be bottled up, right? They could kind of keep him on the shelf up against New Mexico. You thought he was going to get unleashed up against Oklahoma. That wasn't the case. We'll talk to Matt Rule earlier in the week. He did talk about against Central Michigan. They made it a point of emphasis to run the football more. But what you saw from Bryce Underwood, where he had 225 or 235 passing yards last week, and then also 9 carries for 114 rushing yards and 2 rushing touchdowns, that's the type of player that people think he could be. Like I said it before, Bryce Underwood, if he hits the way that he's supposed to hit, it would almost be as if it's RG3 and Vince Young having a baby, and he was the child. So there's a lot of buzz when you take a look at this Nebraska game up against Michigan. Obviously, you have South Carolina, Missouri this weekend. We'll see if Lenora Sellers is going to play. It looks like he will do so. Florida, Miami. Can DJ Lagway kind of keep the game close like how the Dolphins kept the game close last night up against the Buffalo Bills. Mario Cristobal and Carson Beck have done a really good job. You got Illinois and Indiana with Fernando Mendoza going up against Luke Altmaier. That Illinois team there is a thought that they could be a college football playoff team this year. And obviously, at noon, you got a good game, noon Eastern, with Texas Tech and Utah. And there's a lot on the line in a road game for the Red Raiders of Texas Tech. But let's go out to the guest line right now. Welcoming a man that is very well known in Nebraska, and we're all curious what his mood's going to be like coming up Saturday afternoon. He is a former first-round pick in the 2007 NFL Draft, and that is the former defensive player from Nebraska in Adam Carriker. Adam, appreciate the time. Thanks so much for it. How are you?
I'm glorious, man. I appreciate you having me on.
Yeah, so let me start you off. There's so much buzz about this game. Nebraska fans always show up, but there's a difference in showing up and then showing up believing that you could win a football game up against a really good program like Michigan. Where's the confidence level of the Nebraska fan that's been tortured for a long time heading into this game on Saturday?
I'll get to the confidence level in a second. The anticipation level is a 10. It's a 10 out of 10. Most highly anticipated game probably since Colorado last year. Now, the confidence level, there is more of a, we're going to learn a whole lot this Saturday level, and that's at a full 10. As far as the confidence level, I can answer that question a little bit more after the game. Going in, it's like, we're excited. There's question marks, exclamation point, question mark. We don't know yet.
When we get to the quarterback, Dylan Raiola, we had Matt Rule on earlier in the week, and I said to him, last year, Dylan, there was so much hype that people started to call him overrated, but I thought Dylan still had a solid season for a freshman. And then heading into this year, I didn't really hear much about Dylan Raiola outside of just the Nebraska accounts that I follow, and I thought he was underrated. So I asked Matt if he thought that his quarterback was getting disrespected. He said, I don't think he's disrespected. I just think that we need to appreciate the pro things that he's doing in the college game right now, and there should be a greater appreciation for his quarterback in Dylan Raiola. What have you seen in the early goings of the season? I know they haven't been up against the greatest competition, but Dylan Raiola is putting up some pretty big numbers right now.
He's been very efficient, 8 touchdowns, no interceptions, completing 77% of his passes. He hasn't even played, all right, in about 3 1/3 of the last 8 quarters, and he's still the number 2 overall passer in the Big Ten, number 4 in the country when it comes to completion percentage. So he's being very efficient, but it's like Ric Flair said, to be the man, you got to beat the man. Now, I'm not going to say Michigan is the man, but they are one of the teams who's been the man, and they're a blue blood in college football, and they're ranked, and they're a very good football team. So it's one of those things where Raiola, I don't think he's being disrespected. I don't even think he's being overlooked. I personally thought people were a little too harsh on a true freshman teenage quarterback a year ago, but you want to be the man, go out and play well versus Michigan on Saturday, and all of a sudden he will not be overlooked and he will not be disrespected in any way.
Talking about disrespect, is it disrespectful if you were a player? Would you use this as motivation that when Michigan was basically picking and choosing this suspension, that they go, oh, we'll have Sharon Moore serve one of those games up against Nebraska in their house?
Absolutely. It's interesting because I when they announced it last spring or summer, I was like, I guarantee Michigan in no way, shape, or form was intending to disrespect Nebraska. I guarantee that wasn't on their radar. But just because you aren't being disrespectful doesn't mean we can't feel disrespected. And it's interesting because I talked to Brandon Brown. He's a Michigan insider, has a Believe in the Big Ten podcast. Asked him that question. He goes, I never even thought that Nebraska might be offended by this. It never even occurred to him. So again, I know Michigan didn't mean anything, but from a Nebraska perspective, it's kind of like, whoa. You want to walk into Memorial Stadium, into Lincoln, Nebraska, with a true freshman quarterback, don't need your head coach, and you think you're going to win. You might be right, but right now, that doesn't feel like the most respectful thing in the world.
Adam Carriker here with us. Let me get to the Michigan quarterback, Bryce Underwood. Before the season, I was saying things like, all right, in the college level of Vince Young and RG3, if they had a baby, Bryce Underwood, with the way that he plays, he would be the baby. And the first 2 weeks, they didn't really run him. It wasn't a good look for them. The line had some problems up against Oklahoma. I know it's Central Michigan, but last week they let him run the football a whole lot more. If you're a defensive player with the very little you've been able to see of Bryce Underwood, what would stand out to you so far in your preparation for the Cornhuskers defense?
So you go back to who the head coach is. The instant BJ Poggi starts running the show. All of a sudden, Bryce Underwood starts running, and I'm kind of like, I know Sharon Moore is a good coach, but could he coach this weekend if he doesn't want to use Bryce's legs? To me, that's another thing we have to defend that Oklahoma didn't have to worry about, and the first two opponents didn't have to worry about that played Michigan. And now it's right on our radar, and our run defense is the biggest question mark that we have on our defense. Number one pass defense in the country, 100 stopping the run. Michigan's going to want to run the ball. They're going to want to use Bryce's legs. And so for me, that's now an additional factor that you got to account for if you're John Butler and you're running this black shirt defense.
I know it's a different level of competition, right? Michigan, even with their loss this year, I think is a better team than what Colorado was last year. But what can you take from that, Adam Carriker, where 2 years ago they lose to Colorado, then they're playing Colorado again last year, and that team came out swinging. They had the pick six. The stadium was rocking. And in a prove-it game, they proved something last year up against Colorado. With this being another prove-it game, is there anything they could take from that experience last year as they aced the test up against Colorado?
Absolutely. This team is noticeably getting better. Now, we don't know how much, which is why Michigan's going to tell us a lot. And as we go along throughout this season, teams like USC and Penn State down the road, even a short week up at Minnesota in mid-October on a Friday night. Minnesota's beaten us 5 times in a row. So winning games like that, we're going to learn more about ourselves, or not winning those games. We're going to learn more about Nebraska. If I'm Nebraska, I'm going to be like, well, we were significantly better in year 2 than year 1. We believe we're significantly better in year 3 than year 2. So now this is the time when we can go out and prove ourselves. Okay, 0-27 versus our last 27 ranked opponents. Matt Rule is 2-28 in his career versus ranked opponents. He's never beaten a ranked Power 4 team. This is the vaunted year 3 Matt Rule jump. We are much, much better, and this is our chance to go out and prove it. And look at the progression we made from year 1 to year 2. We believe we're better this year. Let's go out and show it to the world, or not, one or the other.
Yeah, and let me follow up on that, because I'm a Temple grad. I was at Temple when Matt was at Temple. I saw the growth from his first year to the second year to the third year, and then eventually the fourth year at Baylor, right? The growth from year 1 to year 2 to year 3. I know that you just laid it out there, right? Obviously, people in Nebraska are familiar with Matt Rule and this year 3 magic, year 3 working in the process. Are Nebraska fans, are they all in on Matt Rule, or is it like, okay, I still got to see it translate on the football field? Last year it was nice. They get the bowl game. They get the victory. That's one thing you could check off, but I'm not totally all in on the coach yet. Like, what is the Nebraska read on Rule?
I think Nebraska fans believe in Matt Rule. We obviously want him to be the guy. We need somebody to be the guy, and right now he's the guy in charge, so it'd be great if he was the guy. He has no previous Nebraska ties. But that doesn't seem to have mattered if you look at our previous head coach. But he seems to fit Nebraska. Hardworking, blue-collar values. And he seems to have educated himself on the things that are great and the things that are unique, maybe challenging about Nebraska, and he's embracing them. And he's doing as good a job with the pluses, the minuses, and everything in between as any coach we've had in a long time. When it comes to Matt Rule year 3 jump, we've absolutely bought in. It's still a prove it, because here's what's different. You win 1 game and 2 games at year 1 at Baylor and Temple, respectively. An improvement. You win 6 games and 7 games in year 2 at Baylor and Temple. Then it's the 9 win, 10 wins, and then ultimately at year 4 at Temple, he wins the AAC Conference Championship, plays for a conference championship in year 3 at Baylor before going on to Carolina. So it's been proven. Is a little bit different. College football is different now. NIL, transfer portal. He had a ton of returning players at Baylor and Temple. Not as many here, but a top 5 transfer portal class. So does that equate the same? Also, the Big Ten's a little bit different, okay, than the AAC Big 12. But when you bring in guys like Dana Holgerson as your OC, Mike Eckler as your special teams coordinator, those are 2 of the best in the business. And so those are things that help give Nebraska fans a little bit more confidence. I'll tell you right now, if we don't have Mike Eckler as our special teams coach, we lose to Cincinnati in game 1. And I think his special teams was a difference maker in that first game.
Hey, just going around the rest of the Big Ten, all eyes are going to be on this one this weekend. You also have a pretty damn good matchup between Indiana and Illinois. 2 quarterbacks, right? Luke Altmaier, playoff expectations. Fernando Mendoza has done a good job early when you look at that Indiana football team. A lot of Signetti magic there. What's your read on that? Do you think Illinois gets the job done?
was surprised. I mean, Indiana's a good football team. Kurt Cignetti, all he does is win, right? Just look him up. He'll tell you all about it. You heard about that a million times, okay? But I was surprised Indiana was favored. There's a lot of teams that haven't played the toughest schedules in the country, and Indiana's amongst them. Illinois didn't mollywop Duke, but they were clearly the better team. And they have a ton of returning production. Now, does that mean your ceiling increased? It means you have experience. Did you hit your ceiling last year? Does your ceiling increase? A lot of times when you have players coming back, they have more players coming back than any other Big Ten team in the conference. You look at Nebraska. Nebraska is the youngest team in the Big Ten Conference, which is why there's some question marks there. But you look at Illinois and you're like, man, they should be a team that could potentially make a playoff run. I personally think Illinois is going to win this game. I was surprised to see Indiana was favored. But, man, Indiana had a heck of a season last year, so it's hard to blame the odds makers right now.
How would you rank, by the way, Penn State, Oregon, and Ohio State in your confidence with those three programs this season?
Okay, as far as who's going to make the deeper playoff run or how I would rate them right now?
That's a good question. I would say how you view that, who you think will be the best team at the end of the season. Let's go that way.
The most impressive team so far has been Ohio State, the win over Texas, which Texas is floundering a little bit. Take that with a grain of salt, if you will. Oregon's just boat racing people. They may have the Big Ten Player of the Year in Dante Moore as their quarterback, potentially. And then Penn State's just kind of chugging along, doing their thing, hasn't caught anyone's eye, hasn't had real competition just yet. They will in Oregon, I believe, a week from now.
Yeah.
That's going to be a big game. I'm still going to take Penn State with the deeper playoff run. You have Knowles coming over from Ohio State. You were already a great defense. Obviously, you lose a high draft pick to the NFL, one of your key pass rushers, but you're going to have a great defense. They may have the best O-line in college football. The Joe Moorhead Award winner may be that offensive line. You've got Katron Allen, Nate Singleton, probably the best backfield in the country. All right. And your quarterback is probably the most experienced returning quarterback in the country. It's going to come down to those wide receivers. When they lost to Notre Dame in the Final Four, their two leading receivers was a tight end, Tyler Warren, and your running back. You can't have that. So those wide receivers they brought in, to me, that's going to be the difference maker. But, man, Ohio State, until somebody beats them, it's hard to doubt them. Oregon, they're going to have a lot to prove versus Penn State as well. But for right now, I'm going to take Penn State.
And then finally, just because you kind of mentioned Scott Frost a few answers ago, this is my view from afar. We all know what he did as a player. It was legendary. The coaching tenure did not work out. Clearly, that's an understatement. I think Nebraska fans just want to forget about what happened with his time as a coach. But what he said in the offseason, I learned not to take the wrong job, that annoyed me. And I'm not even from Nebraska. So is the legacy of Scott Frost stained at all in the Nebraska fans' mind because of what happened with him as a coach?
Unfortunately, I think it is. Had it just not gone well as a coach, I think people could have compartmentalized Scott Frost, the player, Scott Frost, the coach, and they probably, especially over time, 10, 15 years and now, could have separated the two. Oh, great player, national championship winning quarterback, just didn't work out as a coach. But you have the things that have been said. You had things he said at the podium while he was here, and then you have the things he said since he was at UCF. It's going to be harder and harder for people to separate the coaching tenure from the playing career, unfortunately.
He's Adam Carriker. Adam, enjoy the game. I know if you guys win, you'll probably be celebrating at Casa Pavina and be having a lot of runzas on the way there too, probably, right?
Oh, absolutely. Runs is the best. If you've never had it, you ever come in the area, try it out. Thank you for having me.
You got it. There he is, Adam Carriker, joining us on the show. And I'll actually be going to Nebraska this year for the Northwestern game. Getting ready to go to Casa Pavina, which is one of my favorite steakhouses. And then also those runzas. Man, I have a friend going this weekend to the Michigan-Nebraska game. And he goes, what are these Hot Pockets people are telling me? I go, it's called a runza. And they are the perfect drunk food when you're at a football game. Absolutely delicious. All righty, Zach Gelb Show, Infinity Sports Network. We will take a break. Andrew Perloff will join us next for some picks.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 4 minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. .45 seconds remaining. .30 seconds remaining. .15 seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Welcome back to the Zach Gelb Show.
Alrighty, time to do some NFL picks with Andrew Perloff. We will bullcrap for a little bit, and then we'll get to picks with Perloff. But Andrew Perloff, obviously, is the co-host of the Maggie and Perloff Extravaganza right here on many of the same Infinity Sports Network stations, Sirius XM 375, the Odyssey app, the iHeartRadio app, and also streaming live on YouTube. Pearl, how you been, my friend?
I've been better because I'm mad at you.
Why are you mad at me? What did I do?
I have to hear from our common friend Sully that you're going out to Vegas. You never told me you were going out to Vegas. All of a sudden, I'm seeing you hobnobbing with like celebrities and big fights. And I get a note from Sully that maybe there was some big timing energy going on from you toward him.
Now, here's what I will say. That is such fake news if I've ever heard any. Sully got sick and therefore bailed on Samter and I for dinner. I texted Sully before the Vegas trip. I texted him during the Vegas trip. I even offered to bring Sully chicken noodle soup because he was not feeling all that well. And I will just say, Sully, the day I got home from Vegas, miraculously, was better. And I saw him, I think, getting a new tattoo or he was somewhere. So I don't know about that.
Wait. What night were you supposed to go out to dinner with Sully?
I was supposed to go out to dinner with Sully on Thursday night.
Oh, I had it wrong.
Yeah.
You got blown off.
Yeah.
He sent me a picture on Thursday night. He was at a restaurant and Brent Musburger was at his table. I'm not making that up. I don't know if it was Thursday.
Was it Jim Gray?
No, it's definitely Brent Musburger.
Okay. Gotcha. Well, he is out there with Veason, so yeah. I guess Sully lied to us. You know, I'm never gonna be in. I'll never be in a fight with Sully because I like Sully too much. But he could just be honest. If he wants to go have a wicked awesome time with somebody else but me, I'm good with it. Now, I will say, I did. You want to know who I walked into the fight with?
Who?
Big star, like really big A-lister.
Oh, is he a Philly person? No,
not a Philly person.
A-lister.
A-lister. Comedian.
Tom Cruise?
Comedian.
Kevin Hart?
No. Bigger than Kevin Hart, in my opinion.
Well, it's not a Philly, so it's not Shane Gillis.
No.
Nate Bargatze?
Dave Chappelle.
No. What do you mean you walked in not with him. You just happened to be at the same time.
We were in the same section, and we had the same access, and I get into the elevator, and I didn't realize it, but he was right behind me, and then we're in the elevator together. Nice guy.
Oh, you talked to him? Oh, my God, that is so cool. Oh, now I'm really jealous.
I got about...
That's once in a lifetime.
I got 4 words in. You know me, I don't get nervous. I was starstruck. That was the first time I was actually like, nice to meet you, Mr. Chappelle. You know?
Have you ever interviewed Shane Gillis by any chance?
No, but when you got me into a certain after party at the Super Bowl, I had a beer with Shane Gillis, and we talked for like 10 minutes.
Yeah, what a loyal Eagles fan. I love his whole shtick. That'd be cool. I would love to interview him as well.
So are we going to breakfast soon? You get done with work at 10. You want to go to Siddell's one day because I'm a good person?
Yes, of course. Can you get us in? I mean, it's pretty hard.
Yeah.
All right.
I think I could get us on a weekday, 10:30. What time? You guys done by 10:30, 11 o'clock?
Yeah. 11 o'clock.
All right. So let's do it 11 o'clock, Siddell's lunch.
Have you told people about the French toast? Because that is the best thing that is made in all of New York. I don't even know what they do to it. It's like triple French toast. It's so delicious.
It's weird. I'm probably like the one Jew that would ever say this. I'm not a big lox guy. The lox at Siddell's though is must have. Like if it's just like Yom Kippur where you're having lox, I don't need it. But the lox at Siddell's, that's a must have for me.
All right. Let's do it. I'm totally in.
All right.
Who's getting? But wait, who at Infinity Sports Radio Network is getting the invite to come along with us? Because there's going to be drama.
Yeah, that's a good. So who do you want to? Do you want to invite your entire show? Because I don't think we could get a reservation for like 8-9 people. I think I think we will have 4 total seats. So you and I will occupy 2 of them, unless if you want to just say, since I'm a larger fellow and you're tall, you want the extra leg room, and I need the extra seat, so it's just the 2 of us. We could do that, but I think we should invite 2 other people.
Well, here's. I think we could force 6, and we could go you, me, of course, Maggie, EJ Stewart, our producer, Manny Rodriguez, and then there's a 6th spot. I would love to take Samter and tell Bogus that we didn't invite him, because that would be the all-time drama scene.
What about Stu though? Stu has to be in.
I have to be here at 12, so that might be a problem.
So Stu can't.
Stu
can't.
No, you missed the point. It doesn't matter. No offense. I'd love to have Mike or Stu.
Yeah,
but not inviting Bogus, inviting everybody else would be so funny.
So let's do it. And also, I think Bogus is mad at me because that whole Infinity Sports Network talent draft, we killed him for it, and it was really Samter and it was Belletti who was killing him. And for some reason, I just get held with everyone here at the network. I get held accountable for what everybody else says. It was a bad, I almost just cursed there. It was a really bad job by them in that list. But Bogish the other day, here he's taking shots at me for things that Belletti said. So I'm good to kind of throw it in the face of Andrew Bogish and kind of be snobby with him.
Absolutely. And by the way, can we say, Bogus is super fun, and he'd be amazingly fun at brunch, but he's the one who would care the most if he didn't get the invite. Samter, Stu, they don't care.
Sure, but here's the thing. We need actual commitments because that restaurant, they will charge you. I went there last time. They still charged me $100 because they thought I didn't show up when I did show up, and I had to dispute it. So if we're locking in 6 spots, I need everyone to come, okay?
Oh, okay. It's good. Well, what if, how about we invite, if it's the morning, Boomer Gio get off at 10. It'd be fun to have Boomer Esiason there.
That would be very cool. I'm going to assume Boomer Esiason doesn't want to hang out with myself and you.
That is the safest assumption ever.
Just going to assume. All right.
We might get Gio. We're not getting Boomer.
Yeah. Before we get to some NFL picks, college football, I know you're always kind of plugged in with these quarterbacks. Who are the quarterbacks right now that Andrew Perloff is giving the stamp of approval?
Oh, very few. Do you know who Emory Hunt is? He's CBS Sports Network. Great analyst. He's way ahead. He had a great point the other day on actually the Ross Tucker football podcast, a good friend of ours. And he said that this year's class is so far behind Cam Ward and Shedeur Sanders, it's not even close. So if you're looking from an NFL standpoint, nothing has really popped yet. And I challenge you, name a guy who you look at right now and say that's a definite first-round pick the way he's playing. You know, I love John Mateer. I mean, we all do. But that's a sort of an unknown whether his skill set will translate to the NFL. I'm disappointed with Klubnik. I'm disappointed with Lenore Sellers, I guess he will play this weekend. I'm not really, obviously disappointed with Arch. That has been terrible. I could go down the list of potential first-round picks, and I'm just not seeing them. There are a lot of guys I like in college, Zach, but if you're asking pro, I'm not seeing it yet.
Yeah, like right now, my favorite college quarterback is Haynes King. I don't think Haynes King is going to be a successful pro. It's weird. I would say the answer right now, and they played nobody and they haven't even looked that great, and I'm not even a huge fan of this guy because he's been disappointing. I think the safest first-round pick in terms of he'll be a first-round pick, I'm not saying he's going to be any good in the NFL, is Drew Aller. It feels like all these analysts, they slobber over Drew Aller.
Yeah, I thought you might say Carson Beck, actually. I wasn't sure which name you were going to say right there.
Well, good decision-making, I guess. He got rid of a Cavender, so.
He got rid of the Cavender? I don't know if that's how that went down. But, I mean, Carson Beck we'll see, because Miami looks like a house on fire right now. So Carson Beck is co-favorite for the Heisman. He could go up the first round. Yeah, I don't see it with Drew Aller. I haven't seen it yet. As far as pro, I mean, there's so much. Let's see the Ohio State.
Well, you know I like, too? It's early. And we won't really know much until next week. But you mentioned that Oregon game.
Yeah.
Dante Moore looks really bleeping good right now.
Love him. I love him. I made him my Heisman pick last week. Yeah.
Oh, wow.
He looks. And by the way, he's third in odds. It's no joke. Like, if Oregon runs the table, a lot depends on that Penn State game. He might shoot up. Because I don't really trust Carson Beck. And I don't know if Oklahoma wins enough games with John Mateer. And there's not a running back. Jeremiah Smith isn't doing it at wide receiver. So I think that's a safe bet. Remember that class, that quarterback class with Dante Moore, Malachi Nelson, Arch Manning, and I think it was Klubnik. There was another quarterback. How disappointing they were. Now Dante Moore is storming back and making the class good again.
Yeah, and I think Malachi Nelson's on his third school or something.
Yeah, he's at UTEP. He lost to Arch last week.
All righty. So I have to be honest with you. The reason we brought you on is if there's like a scrub quarterback, you're like best friends with them. So the matchup this weekend, I'm not saying I need your pick yet, but you have to love Jake Browning going up against Carson Wentz, correct?
You might say this is the Andrew Perloff backup quarterback Super Bowl. I actually, we have Nick Costos on Fridays. I was like, Nick, the over-under is at 41.5. Don't you think that this over-under is going to be closer to 65? I'm like, we're going to have Jake Browning. Jake Browning killed the Vikings the last time they played. He knows Brian Flores' defense. That guy throws a catchable ball. The problem is it might be caught by the cornerback as well as the wide receiver. I'm so excited, Zach. You have no idea.
All righty, let's get to the picks right now. Stu, give me my music, please.
It's time for NFL picks on the Zach Gelb Show.
All righty, if we happen to pick the same game, we happen to pick the same game, so that's fine. I'm going to start things off. I know that the Packers are off to an unbelievable start They are 2-0. Cleveland got just absolutely destroyed last week. Maybe this is a sucker bet. If it is, I'm fine with it. I like the Green Bay Packers laying 7.5 points this weekend. I think they will win the game by at least 8. They probably win it by 10 to 14, if not more than that. So give me the Pack as they continue to roll along into that matchup next week up against Dallas. We'll see what Dallas does up against Chicago, but I like the Packers this week laying the 7.5 up against the Browns. Your first pick, Perloff?
Okay, I'm going against my Birds. You see I'm wearing a Phillies hat on the Zoom on the YouTube channel. The Eagles given 3.5 points against a Rams team, but I think the teams are very close to equal. The issue is the Rams are playing this game like it's their Super Bowl. The Eagles just got off the Chiefs game. I'm going on emotion. You hear the narratives coming out of LA. They have this circled after last year's playoff loss. They are desperate to compete here. I feel like the Eagles are going to come out flat, and I don't really trust the new offensive quarterback, Kevin Patullo. So 3.5 is too many points. I got the Rams.
I'm piggybacking here on you. I'm going Rams plus 3.5 as well. And my whole point is what you just made. The first part of that is that the Rams, they lost that game. I think it was like 28-22 or something like that.
Yeah, it was a push at 28-22.
They were right there in the snow, could have won the game, and they've been talking about that all off season long. I just think it's emotion, where this game means everything for the Rams, and in all honesty, it means very little for a great football team like the Philadelphia Eagles. So I do like the Rams plus 3.5 as well. So I have Green Bay laying 7.5 as my first pick, the Rams plus 3.5 as my second pick. Your first pick was the Rams plus 3.5. What is pick number 2 for Andrew Perloff?
Okay, I'm going to take the LA Superchargers laying 2.5, hosting the Broncos. That's based almost solely on the fact that Bo Nix in that offense has not looked good. This is going to be the real test of what I would call the new AFC West contenders. The Chargers, listen, the Broncos are definitely present challenges they haven't seen yet. I think the Chiefs came out really flat in Brazil. But if you watch that offense, even the Colts game, they were better last week, but they do not look dominant like we expected. People were talking about Bo Nix being the next Drew Brees under Sean Payton. That is not what's happening there at all. I think the Chargers will try and run the ball down their throat. It's going to be hard because Denver's got a great defense. But I give them a huge edge at quarterback. I think the Chargers laying 2.5.
I am jumping on the Indiana Jones train.
Oh.
I think the Colts are winning the AFC South. The Texans' offensive line is horrendous right now. C.J. Stroud has some decision-making issues. So I've been in on the Colts, which I never thought I would say that entering this season. Indianapolis does play Tennessee this weekend. I like Cam Ward. I think Cam Ward is good. I just don't think he has enough around him. I thought Calvin Ridley would have some better numbers early on in game 1. He dropped a ton of footballs. I'm going to ride the hot hand here. It's like when you're in Vegas. If you're at the table and you're hot, you stay at the table. So I'm staying at the table right now with Daniel Jones. Give me him laying 4.5 points up against Tennessee.
Yeah, love it. All right, I got my last one. It is going against every philosophy you have. The New Orleans Saints are on the road, and I am picking them. Getting 7.5 points at Seattle. I've watched both Saints games closely because last week I was very obsessed with how Mac Jones was going to do for San Francisco. And then they almost won in week 1. The Saints are tough. They do not give up. They're playing hard. I do not think that Seattle offense is anything to write home about. Seattle is going to get so conservative. I think 7.5 points is just too many for what we've seen from the Seahawks. I know they did well against the Steelers last week. Steelers defense might be bad, like really bad. So I think the Saints defense keeps them in this. Getting 7.5 points, I like it.
So I got to ask you something. And obviously people could follow me on Twitter and Instagram at Zach Gelb. And we just launched a show TikTok account this week at the Zach Gelb Show. And I saw you guys obviously have a TikTok account. And I did see some video today. I don't know if it was on TikTok. It may have been on Twitter. Of Maggie dressed up as a Rams fan. She looked like a sad Rams fan. What happened there? Why was she dressed up like that?
She lost a bet on the Rams-Bills game last year, and she's finally paying up to a listener, Big Friendly. I don't know what Big Friendly calls
Yeah, he does. I like Big Friendly. Good dude.
Yeah, very funny. And for some reason, the makeup she bought was way too pale, so she looked sickly. There was something wrong with it. It didn't pop like that Rams blue and gold. So people wonder, we're calling in, is she jaundiced? What's going on here? Is everything okay? It was just the makeup. She's fine. She ended up looking a little more like Braveheart than a Rams fan.
I thought she was, until I saw the big Rams logo, I thought she was just celebrating the Bills' victory last night. That's what I thought. And then I saw the Rams logo, and I go, I have to ask Perloff. I'm very confused.
Oh, no. She doesn't sell. She is the most negative fan, pessimistic fan. She thought the Bills were going to lose last night.
And I said this to Maggie. If you finally act a little positive, have a little positivity, have a little confidence, that's when the Bills are actually going to win. She's been too negative the last 4 or 5 years.
Is that your fan philosophy? I'm with Maggie. I root, I kind of don't get too ahead of my skis rooting for my own teams.
That's because you haven't been in the penthouse long enough. Now you're in the NFL penthouse. You should be as confident as ever with the football team that you have. And by the way, real quickly, I know we were trashing Sully in the beginning. I do got to give him some credit. He got me into Cipriani's in Las Vegas. And he had this rigatoni recommendation and a Thanksgiving sauce, which was phenomenal. He had me order a Wagyu ribeye, which was great. And then the ice cream sundae recommendation was really, really damn good. I missed you in Vegas. We had a good time in Vegas. I missed you.
Let's go back. You, me, Sully, everybody, get the whole gang together. Whatever that is, that sounds amazing. And he really
just no bogus. No bogus.
Yeah, we'll let Bogus come with us to Vegas, but he can't come to dinner with us. He's going to have to go to a buffet at the old Vegas.
Yeah, you got it. There he is, the great Andrew Perloff. Pearl, thank you.
Thanks, bud.
All righty, so once again, those picks this week, I have the Packers laying 7.5, the Rams plus 3.5, the Colts laying 4.5. Perloff has the Rams plus 3.5 as well, the Chargers laying 2.5, and then the Saints. Who that say they're going to beat them Saints at plus 7.5. Update time. Here's Zach.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
Well, week 3 of the NFL season, a couple of quarterbacks are down. Joe Burrow is out for at least a while after toe surgery. No exact timetable has been established for his return. Jaden Daniels will miss the Commanders game against the Raiders with a sprained knee. Marcus Mariota will start, while J.J. McCarthy officially been ruled out by the Vikings. Tackle Christian Darrisaw, however, is questionable, and the Patriots' Christian Gonzalez is questionable after missing the first 2 games of the season. The Falcons have named Parker Romo their kicker and have released Younghoe Koo. The wild card races have provided some excitement, but with 9 games left, still some divisions very much up for grabs. The Blue Jays and Dodgers hold 3-game leads in the AL East. I make that the AL East and NL West, respectively. The Mariners and Astros are tied in the AL West and will meet tonight in Houston. Seattle has been red hot with wins in 12 of 13. Manager Dan Wilson said it's good to go into this series with some positive momentum.
This is why you play, and it's exciting. So I think everybody in there is ready to go, and like I said, getting today, get some momentum, and now it's game on in Houston.
And the great Clayton Kershaw makes his final Dodger Stadium start tonight when they host the Giants. I'm Rich Eckler.
The Infinity Sports Network is on your smart speaker. All you have to say is play Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 3 minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
You're listening to the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network.
Yo, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Let me hear this one more time. We played it earlier in the week, right when it happened. This is Falcons head coach Raheem Morris, and he gives his thoughts on Bijan Robinson.
Do you think Bijan's one of the best or one of the best players in football?
There ain't no doubt about it. He's definitely the best player in football, like in my head. I don't care. He's unbelievable. Like, I love the kid. I love everything about him. I love watching him with the ball. I love his confidence. I love his demeanor. I love his mindset. I love the leadership. I love everything about him.
So that's some pretty big praise, even though it is his head coach. He called him the best player in football. I like Bijan Robinson a lot, but do I think he's the best player in football? No, I do not. The Falcons, they are 1-1. They come off that victory up against the Vikings where Bijan Robinson did play very well. They go to Carolina this week. They play the Panthers. That's another game that they should win. That spread is only 5.5. So we'll see how that does play out in the gambling world. But if the Falcons lose this game after Raheem Morris just said all that, that would be a really, really bad look, especially if there's a Bijan Robinson fumble at the end of the game. But I would think that he's going to have a good game up against the Carolina Panthers. So based off of that, it got me thinking, like, who are the 10 best players in the NFL? So we're going to do a little draft here. But can I just get a clarification before we do this draft? It's the 10 best players in the NFL since Joe Burrow is now going to be out for 12 weeks, could we just get a ruling here? Should he still be considered amongst the 10 best players? Because I think he would have been, but now with the injury, I can't call him a top 10 player in the NFL currently with the fact that he's not available. Like, it's guys that are healthy and available. Is that how we're doing this?
I mean, if that's how you want to do it, sure. But, I mean, like, if you ask me who are the top 10 players in the NFL, I'm considering Joe Burrow a top 10 player.
Yeah, I do.
Just because he's hurt doesn't mean that he's not top. So it's up to you. But if you want to do based off of injury and what they're going to be the rest of this season, then sure.
All right, so I'll do it your way. I'm easy here. I'm not always going to listen to everything Samter says, but I think it's a fair point. So that was just the one name that popped to mind. So we will include Joe Burrow in this conversation, even though he's going to be out 12 to 15 weeks with this turf toe injury. All right, let's start things off. Who wants to go first? You know what? Samter, you had the clarification. I'll let you go first.
Crap, I was hoping that you were going to have me not go first because my first overall pick is not a
quarterback?
Is not a quarterback, and it is not somebody that you would probably put number one unless you're playing fantasy.
Oh, boy.
But I legitimately think the best player in football right now is Justin Jefferson. Wow. I think when he's healthy, he is doesn't matter who his quarterback is, doesn't matter what the offense or what the coach is, Justin Jefferson is great, right? Jamar Chase is great too, but he has Joe Burrow. Saquon Barkley was good with the Giants, great with the Eagles.
I'm going to interrupt here. We got 4 or 5 minutes in this segment. You gave me the name.
Justin Jefferson.
I don't need the justification.
That's
and you telling me 3 minutes
Justin
why the
Jefferson.
name is right. You go Justin Jefferson, boom. Stu.
I'm still going Patrick Mahomes. I think he's still the best quarterback and best player in the NFL.
Okay, I think this is then easy for me. I'm going to go Josh Allen, and I'll follow up Josh Allen with Lamar Jackson. So I go Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. We'll go through this, and we'll do 3 picks each, and then I'll decide who the last person is so we get to 10. Stu, it's snaking back around.
All right, give me Saquon Barkley. I think he's still the clear best running back in the NFL.
Okay, Samter?
Cool. I'm going to take Jamar Chase.
And you get another pick.
And then I'm going to go with Myles Garrett.
Wow. Okay. Myles Garrett's a great one. Stu?
I will piggyback off Samter, and I'll go with another defensive player, TJ Watt.
Ooh. All right, I'm shocked this player hasn't been mentioned yet. And you said he's the best running back by far, Stu, in Saquon Barkley.
I think so, yeah.
Saquon Barkley. I'm going Derrick Henry. What that dude does each and every week is just unbelievable. So that's 9 picks right there.
So you might snake around, take the 10.
Well, yeah, I'm going to do that.
Okay.
So Samter took Justin Jefferson first. Then Stu took Patrick Mahomes second. Then I took Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson third, fourth. Stu then took Saquon Barkley 5. Samter then took Jamar Chase 6. Myles Garrett 7th. Stu then took TJ Watt 8th. And I took Derrick Henry 9th. So I have 1 pick left. And I'm thinking, could I go with Fred Warner at the linebacker position? I would not go CeeDee Lamb yet. Patrick Surtain is someone that I'm thinking about. Just thinking about. How do I not go Joe Burrow here? That's the thing. Even though he's hurt right now, how don't I go Joe Burrow? Like, would I go Penei Sewell? Would I go Max Crosby, Fred Warner? Yeah, oh, man, I feel bad leaving Pat Surtain off because he's Defensive Player of the Year. But I'm going to go Joe Burrow because of the quarterback importance. 888-710-4ISN, 888-710-4476. Got 2.5 minutes here. Big Friendly, go ahead. Big Friendly, what's happening, my man?
Zachary Doodah, how you do, my man?
Doing great.
That's the thing I was asking you about signing the jersey for Magsy. And I cannot believe, Zachary, you guys did not pick Puka, Jared Verse. Are the Rams chopped liver?
I think the Rams are going to win the game this weekend up against the Eagles. So not chopped liver, but top 10 player in the league. Let's pump the brakes there, Big Friendly. I don't want to get Big Friendly upset on a football Friday, but top 10 player, what are we doing? I love Puka. Best hair in the NFL. Him or Alex Anzalone?
Okay, I'm not going to argue with you. I'm not going to argue with you, Zachary, because I respect you. But here's what I want to tell you about Perloff, and the chat knows. This morning, he was trying to moonwalk out of our bet, because if the Rams win, he has to come to work in a very small, tight Ram jersey, like I took a picture for them in a tight Eagle sweater last year. So That's why he's picking the Rams. But, yeah, Magsy owed me. She paid me. I think she was beautiful today.
So they sent you a jersey? Is that what they're doing?
No, so Magsy bought a Ram shirt, and I was going to have you guys all sign it before she sends it to me.
Did she already send it or no?
No, she was supposed to get it today, so she's going to bring it next week for you guys to sign. And she has a new nickname. After this morning, Zachary, her new nickname is Mag Ramsey.
Oh, Mag Ramsey. You know what?
And,
if there ever gets to a point where Matthew Stafford gets hurt, I actually think I would want Maggie Gray in as the backup quarterback over Jimmy Garoppolo.
We'll be making a bet too, Zachary. I just got to figure out who the Patriots are playing that I want to pick against. But you have a great day, great weekend. Take care, my good man.
You got it. Big thanks to Big Friendly for calling in. I think Maggie would actually be a good kicker. She got big feet, you know? Get around that ball, kick it right through the uprights. I think Maggie would be a decent kicker. Backup quarterback, too. She'd be pretty good, I think. I could see Maggie kind of being like Tim Tebow, run right through the defense, do whatever it takes to go get a victory. It's the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Take a break. Samter asked me a question today. I think it's the most difficult question that he's ever asked me. It has to do with the NFL, and it has to do with the future of the NFL. The National Football League. We'll get into that. We'll tell you what the question is. I'll try to give you an answer when the Zach Gelb Show continues after these short messages.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. 1 minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
To infinity and beyond.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show. Here's your host, Zach Gelb.
I don't want to say it's a rare occurrence, but today, Samter walked up to me before the show started. He goes, I got a great question today. I said, okay, what's your great question? Now, sometimes Samter may say he has a great question, and I'm like, it's not really a great question. Today, I thought Michael Samter, Moist Mike, our producer extraordinaire, he had a great question. He goes, Chargers playing the Broncos this weekend. He goes, look around the league. For the next 5 years, who do you trust the most? Now, when he said that, I thought he meant a team that hasn't gone on a run yet. And I'm sitting there and I go, that's a tough question. And there was a team or two that came to mind, but it's not as if I was in love with any of those teams right out of the gate. So I made this question even tougher. Because I could sit here and say, even though the Chiefs right now are 0-2 and they play the Giants coming up on Sunday Night Football, wouldn't you trust Patrick Mahomes? Now, I know the Bills haven't won a Super Bowl yet or got to a Super Bowl yet with Josh Allen. But Josh Allen would seem like a too easy answer. And the Bills should obviously be a team that you'll trust because of the quarterback for the next 5 years. Lamar Jackson as well. You know, the Eagles with their group. So if it was just, who do you trust the most for the next 5 years in the NFL, I don't think the question is that great. Because real quickly, don't do the teams that we're going to pick here. If I just had to say no stipulations, I'm about to put a stipulation on it. Stu, for the next 5 years, who's the team that you trust the most in the NFL? Who would you go with?
I would still go with the Chiefs.
You would. Samter, next 5 years, no stipulations. Just who would be the team that you would trust the most in the NFL? Who would you go with?
I'd probably go with the Bills.
Okay, so Chiefs and Bills, right? I would expect those to be two out of the three. Now, if you leave me with one more to go, I could go Baltimore. Maybe I still like the Lions, potentially. Right? You know, you want to go the Rams, even though Matthew Stafford and that run's coming to a close, but they have such a good roster. So the way I want to do this is the next 5 years, who do you trust the most? But I want to put a caveat. The team that you pick cannot have made the NFC or AFC championship game in the last 3 seasons. So the last 3 AFC or NFC championship games, in the NFC was Eagles, Commanders, San Francisco, Detroit, Eagles, San Francisco. In the AFC, Kansas City, Buffalo, Kansas City, Baltimore, Kansas City, Cincinnati. So in the AFC, off the table, Kansas City, Cincinnati, Baltimore, and Buffalo. In the NFC, off the table, Eagles, Commanders, San Francisco, and the Lions. So you take those teams out. Who's the team that you trust the most for the next 5 years in the NFL? The team I'm going to go with, and I know they're off to an incredibly hot start. You look at the history of their franchise, it is one of the franchises that have the richer traditions in the history of the league. Iconic coach, right? Iconic players, Hall of Fame members, a bunch of world championships, and they're able to just replace the toughest quarterback position after a long run seamlessly, which is very damn impressive. I look at the Green Bay Packers. Are the Packers really ever bad? I know they missed the playoffs in Aaron Rodgers last year. If they would have won that game, they would have been in the postseason. So you look at Green Bay, 11-6 last year, 9-8, 8-9, 13-4, 13-3, 13-3. All right, they were 6-9-1. They were 7-9, 10-6, 10-6, 12-4, 8-7-1, 11-5, 15-1, 10-6, 11-5, 6-10 back in 2008, 13-3 in 2007. Like, Stu, you're a Raiders fan. If I just gave you those numbers, and I didn't even tell you if they won a Super Bowl or not, which they've only won one in that stretch, and that was in 2010, you would take those records in a heartbeat, correct?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Not
Without
even a
hesitation and twice on Sundays,
yes,
correct, Mundo?
Of course.
So I look at the Green Bay Packers. Do I know for sure Jordan Love's going to win a Super Bowl and continue the lineage of Favre and Rodgers, Hall of Fame jackets, and world championships in Green Bay? No, I don't. But I look at Jordan Love with them taking a wide receiver in the first round for the first time since 2002 in Golden. You still have Josh Jacobs, who's a very good back in this league. On the defensive side of the ball, you trade for Micah Parsons right in his prime. Xavier McKinney is a heck of a player. You got Rashawn Gary, right? There's enough names on that defensive side of the ball. And even though Matt LaFleur, he hasn't won a Super Bowl yet, and I thought early on with Rodgers, I didn't really want to give him that much credit. He has proved since Aaron Rodgers that that guy is a good coach. I'm not going to say great, but he's a good coach. Because Rodgers walked out that door in 2022. They were 8-9. He was 9-8, made the playoffs the first year with Jordan Love, right, as the starting quarterback. They beat the Cowboys in that wild card weekend round. Then last year they were 11-6. They lost in the wild card round to the eventual Super Bowl champion Philadelphia Eagles. And this year they're 2-0 to start the season. And they have not only just two good wins, two great wins. They have a win up against a team in the Detroit Lions that was the 1 seed last year. 2 years before that, they were in the NFC Championship game. And then they also beat the Washington Commanders, who last year were in the NFC Championship game. So if you're saying to me, Zach, who's a team that you would trust for the next 5 years, and that team can't make couldn't have made the AFC or NFC Championship in the last 3 seasons, who's the team that you're going to take? I'm going to trust the foundation that has been built for years and years and years in Green Bay. I'm going to take the brand of the Packers that is obviously, there's no player that's bigger than the brand of the Green Bay Packers. And they just have the magic sauce there. And I'm going to trust that in the next 5 years that group with their track record is going to be able to win a championship. So I'm going to go with Green Bay. Stu, who's your answer?
I was originally going to go with the Falcons, basically just kind of piggybacking off believing about Michael Penix Jr. and really liking their draft from this year, especially what they did with their defense. But you know what? I'm going to go with the Bucs. That might not look as good, years 4 and 5, but especially these first 3-4 years, Baker Mayfield, only 30, still very good. He's shown so far this season how great he is. You have the aging Mike Evans. He's not going to obviously last for the entirety of the 5 years, but Ibuka's looked really good, obviously. Emeka Ibuka. I could say that name now. Some decent running backs with Irving and White. Obviously one of the better defensive players in the league in Antoine Winfield. Don't love the coach, but I love Baker Mayfield. I love the division, and I think they are a team that is at least going to be in the mix here the next few years.
Yeah, and that's the thing, too. The division, like the Packers, they have a tougher division. We'll see what the Vikings' future looks like. We'll see what the Bears, if Boy Wonder could ever get it going. Ben Johnson, big week this week for Chicago. You have a coach just laying into the team's inability to practice tough. If you lose to the Cowboys at home, or you have a lifeless effort up against the Cowboys at home and you're 0-3, people are going to start to wonder if the coach is already getting tuned out in Chicago. So, yeah, the team that I picked in the Packers, it's more based off of tradition and what they have built for them right now. But their division, it's tough with the Vikings, the Lions, and the Bears. You look at the NFC South, the Panthers, are they ever going to get it together? The Saints, they don't have their franchise quarterback on the roster right now. So if your main competition is Atlanta, yeah, Baker's going to play another 5 years. Now, Chris Godwin, who knows how much juice that he has left in his legs. Mike Evans towards the end of his career, but you got the young Bucky Irving, you got Emeka Ibuka, and you have one of the better defensive players in the league in Antoine Winfield Jr. So, yeah, I like that suggestion of the Bucs better than the Falcons because Baker's already established. Michael Penix Jr., even though he's played well so far, he's an unknown still in terms of the NFL. And Bijan Robinson is phenomenal. Drake London is really good. I like the two pass rushers that they have cooking early on. I know it's early, but that Pierce Jr. looks really damn good with the Atlanta Falcons. So the Falcons have some pieces, but the Bucs to me are more established, and they're still young enough. So I think that's a good answer as we kind of go off the cuff here and we try to, Packers I think aren't bizarre. The Bucs, I don't know how many people nationally would have said this, but it is definitely a good one there still. All righty, Sam, who do you got?
I think, because we're taking away so many of the more obvious answers, you kind of have to dig deep. I think the Packers was a good one. But, you go into the deep dive, and
You taking your Arizona Cardinals?
They were in consideration.
Really? With Kyler Murray?
Yeah.
Really?
Like I've said multiple times on this show, when Kyler Murray is healthy, the last time he was fully healthy, he was an MVP candidate. Kyler Murray is one of those guys who, when he's healthy,
in that playoff game.
Sure, but how healthy has he been throughout his career? If he's healthy, not a huge if. But I'm not going with the Cardinals.
The decision-making for me for Kyler is the big thing.
You mean like off the field?
Both.
Okay.
Decision-making on the field is questionable. There's some boneheaded plays that get made. And how there's no light bulb that just went off in his head. When you're posting a photo of a pit bull, not to put on a Michael Vick jersey and post that for everyone to see, it makes me just look back. Athletes of the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, what did they get away with? Like, we're just talking about a photo. It's a dumb photo. But Kyler Murray did that to himself because he put that photo out there. All these other athletes in the 70s, the 80s, and the 90s, and even the early 2000s, social media wasn't really a thing. How many times do you see athletes harm their own brand with things that, okay, not that I would love if Kyler Murray's walking around his own home in a Michael Vick jersey with this pit bull. I wouldn't love that. But if it's in your own home, you could do what you want, right, from a legal standpoint in your own home. But for him to broadcast that publicly, it just made me think this week. In the 70s, the 80s, and 90s, how much these players probably got away with, the early 2000s even. So anyway, Santer, sorry. Sorry to cut you off there. Go ahead. Give me your answer.
No, that's fine. So I'm not going with the Cardinals, but they were in consideration. The team I'm going with, I know they haven't started out well. They had actually, they're terrible so far. The offense looks.
You going with an 0-2 team?
I'm going with an 0-2 team.
Ooh.
Because the last 2 years, they
you going
went
with
from
the Dolphins with McDaniel?
Yes.
Now they're 0-3.
I'm going with Josh McDaniel. No, of course not.
You mean Mike?
Can I say Josh McDaniels?
Yeah.
Jeez. Yeah. I'm actually looking at a picture of Mike McDaniel as I'm talking to you. It's very funny.
I'm here. I'm there.
He doesn't make eye contact. Do you notice that? When he does his press conferences, he's looking down. He doesn't look up, and that freaks me out.
We're another day closer to death, so today, tomorrow, today is a good day.
At this point, I think he'd welcome death. He
sounds
miserable.
like ChatGPT. If ChatGPT had a stutter.
Maybe. ChatGPT doesn't sound that bad. He sounds less human than ChatGPT.
I'm saying he sounds like a robot, is what I'm saying.
Yeah, but ChatGPT at this point sounds better than him. It's less robotic. Yeah, it's unbelievable.
Interception. All right, go ahead.
So the team I'm going to go with, another 0-2 team that has obviously done very well. They turned their their team around. Good coach in D'Amico Ryans.
Ooh.
They have a quarterback who's struggling, but he's won the division 2 years in a row. He's won a playoff game 2 years in a row. Will Anderson is a beast. They've got young talent. They've got a good receiving core who is so beat up from injuries that once they're healthy with Nico Collins and Tank Dell and the whole crew they have there, they, I think, are going to be fantastic because they've built a good foundation. They have a leader in Stroud who is struggling, but he's a leader. He is a guy who takes that franchise by the horns. D'Amico Ryans is no nonsense. Will Anderson
I
is
think
going
Will
to be
Anderson's
good.
actually their best leader, if I'm being honest.
Sure, but on the defensive side, and he's going to be good for a very long time. He's good, but he's getting better. So I think that's a team, especially in that division. We don't know what Cam Ward's going to be yet. I'm not buying the Colts long-term with Daniel Jones. And the Jaguars are up and down. 1 second they look like they can win the division and make a run in the playoffs. The next minute it looks like they could barely get out of the bed in the morning. So I'm going to go with the Houston Texans.
Can I just throw out one team, and I'm curious on the explanation?
No, you can't.
Well, I'm going to do so anyway.
Fine. I guess it is called the Zach Gelb Show.
So once again, if you're just getting in, for the next 5 years, who would you trust the most? It can't be a team that's made the AFC or NFC championship game in the last 3 seasons. So let me just throw out 2 teams. And I'm just curious why you didn't take these 2 teams. I had the Packers. Stu had the Buccaneers. And Samter had the Texans. Let me just throw out one team, and then I'll throw out the other. Team number 1. What about the Minnesota Vikings? They're 1-1. I know J.J. McCarthy's hurt. Carson Wentz is the quarterback, so quarterback is a problem. You got Jordan Mason, who I think is going to be their top back by the end of the year. Now Aaron Jones is out. You got Justin Jefferson, Addison out this week, and then he's back from the suspension. You got a defense that plays hard for Brian Flores, a very good defense. And Kevin O'Connell showed you last year, he could take a guy that's career was over in Sam Darnold and, boom, get him a 3-year contract for $100 million or whatever it was. So why not Minnesota over Atlanta and over the Texans? I'm just curious.
For me, the main thing is Mike McCarthy, is J.J. McCarthy. I'm getting all the first names wrong here. J.J. McCarthy. 7 of the 8 quarters that he's played, he's been awful. Not bad, not average, awful. He had 1 really good quarter, and then other than that, he's just not done anything. So I'm not ready. As much as I love Kevin O'Connell, I think he is going to be one of the top 2 or 3 coaches in the NFL if he's not already there. He is brilliant. He can win with anybody. I like the defense. Like I said before, Justin Jefferson to me is the best player in the NFL. They have talent all around, but I'm not ready to jump there yet because I know nothing about J.J. McCarthy other than he's been bad, very bad for 7 of 8 quarters.
Stu, why would you not go Minnesota over the Buccaneers?
Yeah, pretty similar. I don't trust the quarterback. I don't like what I've seen from him for the most part, and I think the division is very hard. So I think it's going to be tough for them to consistently break through.
And then also, I'll throw out one more team. Verse, Fisk, Young, Turner, established on the defense. Offensively, established young player in Puka Nacua, established young player in Kyron Williams. Sure, Devontae Adams old. Sure, Matthew Stafford old. But for the next 5 years, why not the Rams with their coach in trusting that Sean McVay will be able to find the quarterback?
So there was a variety. You mentioned Stafford. Devontae Adams didn't factor in as much because Puka's just that good.
Yeah.
Kyron Williams, I love that defense is so young. They're one of the youngest teams in the NFL. But we also don't know the future of Sean McVay. We've heard the retirement talk about Sean McVay every offseason for the past 3 years. Forever. So between Sean McVay and Matthew Stafford, we just, who do they have back there? Jimmy Garoppolo? I mean, I'm not. Yes, they're there, but there's so much uncertainty around the coach and the quarterback that it scared me away.
Yeah, for me, it was the quarterback. And look, they might be the team that trades up this year to get a quarterback in the first round to replace Stafford. But until I know who that is, I have a tough time picking them.
All righty, this is Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. We will take a break. When we come on back, we'll do a little onside, offside on this Football Friday. The NFL season is rolling. Download the DraftKings Sportsbook app and use code GELB. That's code GELB, G-E-L-B, for new customers to get $200 in bonus bets instantly when you place your first $5 bet. Plus, you could be eligible to get over $200 off NFL Sunday Ticket subscription from YouTube and YouTube TV. In partnership with DraftKings, the crown is yours. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. In New York, call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369. In Connecticut, help is available for problem gambling. Call 888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org. Please play responsibly on behalf of Boot Hill Casino and Resort, Kansas. Must be 21 plus. Age and eligibility varies by jurisdiction. Must be present in certain state where it is lawful to wager. Fees may apply in Illinois. Void in Ontario. Bonus bets are non-cash credits that expire 7 days after issuance. See sportsbook.draftkings.com/promos. NFL Sunday Ticket offer for new subscribers only and auto renews until canceled. Digital games and commercial use excluded. Blackout and other restrictions apply. Additional NFL Sunday Ticket terms at youtube.com/go/NFL Sunday Ticket/terms. Limited time offer, valid until September 29th, 2025.
You're in a 4-minute break. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Two minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Thirty seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Zach's taking on the most polarizing issues in sports. Which side of the line of scrimmage will he end up on?
Offside. Defense number 69.
It's Onsides, Offsides with Zach Gelb.
Alrighty, Stu Puck, what do we got cooking today on Onsides, Offsides? As it is the Zach Gelb Show.
All right, Zach. So the Dolphins, they fell to 0-3 after last night's loss to the Bills, and some information came out about Tyreek Hill from last year. According to an anonymous and current Dolphins player, Hill and Jalen Ramsey, were constantly late for meetings, broke team rules, and were fined multiple times despite being captains. However, NFL Network's Colin Wolfe reported that the team intends to keep Tyreek Hill.
It's been well documented. Tua and Tyreek had a rough offseason. Tua said they need to rebuild their chemistry. But one thing I do want to say, there's a lot of conversation about Tyreek trade rumors from people I talk to. That is not something that is a consideration at this stage. They think they can get this ready for all of these guys together, Rhett.
And as obviously Cameron Wolfe, Onsides, Offsides, Tyreek Hill will be traded before the end of the season.
I still think so. Onsides, the NFL trade deadline is not until November 10th at 4 p.m. Eastern time. So you take a look at the Dolphins' schedule. Could they get back right these next 2 weeks against the Jets and the Panthers? Yes. After that, they play the Chargers, tough game. They play the Browns, easier game. Falcons, toss-up. Baltimore, tough. Buffalo, tough. And then that takes you through November 9th, and the trade deadline is right after that the following day. 10 weeks into this season, I think this team will be more bad than they will be good. And we know one thing about Tyreek Hill. He is a jackass, and he's a malcontent. And I think that he'll be that, and he'll force himself out of Miami. So Tyreek Hill will be traded before the end of the season. I'm going to go on sides.
A big AFC South matchup pits the 0-2 Texans against the 1-1 Jaguars, with both teams chasing the undefeated Colts. C.J. Stroud and the offense have struggled for the Texans, while Trevor Lawrence has looked improved, while Travis Hunter and Brian Thomas look to get on track. Onsides, offsides, the winner of this game will win the AFC South.
That's an offsides from me. If the Texans win, they would be 1-2. If the Jaguars win, they would be 2-1. Even if the Texans win, I don't fully believe in them yet. And even if the Jaguars win, I don't fully believe in them yet. And I think Indianapolis is still a player, as Indianapolis is 2-0. And I think Indianapolis is going to win the AFC South. So the winner of this game will win the division. I'm going to go offside.
Offside.
Could we have just real quickly a moment of silence? Could we just fade down the music real quickly, Stu? The Falcons have released Younghoe Koo. So they are waving Younghoe Koo. So just please a moment of silence. Thank you. I'm a big fan of Younghoe Koo. You know, all of that week one performance, they get rid of Younghoe Koo. Unfortunate. All right, you continue.
All right, everyone seems to think that Taylor Swift is the NFL's top choice to perform the Super Bowl halftime show this year, but it seems unlikely that she'll do so since her fiancé, Travis Kelce, could be in the game. Now reports say the league approached megastar Adele.
I don't think that has anything to do with it, by the way. Because I think it has everything to do with that she knows she's bigger, or she thinks she's bigger than the Super Bowl. And I don't think they pay the Super Bowl act, if memory serves me right. So I'm not saying the money's the biggest part about it, but for some reason she hasn't done it yet. If she's not going to do it now, then she's never going to do it, in my opinion. But go ahead.
So reports say that the league has approached megastar Adele to potentially take the gig. Onsides, offsides, Adele would be an entertaining halftime show.
So actually, this is jarred my memory. I did see this morning. So it was Adele, and then they've also, if it's not Adele, Miley Cyrus. Now, I saw Miley Cyrus perform a few years ago. I was at a Green Day show, not the one I went with Samter. It was in L.A., when the Super Bowl was in L.A. It was Miley Cyrus opened for Green Day. And I thought Miley Cyrus was incredible. But if you tell me Adele would be an entertaining halftime show, I think she's just so great. Where even though it's more slow-paced and a little bit more mellow, I think it would be really damn cool and still very powerful. So I would go on sides on that. I think Adele would actually be an entertaining halftime show. It'd be better than Kendrick, I'll tell you that. Kendrick was absolutely horrible, rancid last year. So Adele would be an entertaining halftime show on sides.
Kirk Cousins remained
You like that? You like that?
He remains behind Michael Penix Jr. in Atlanta and has made it clear that he'd like to get traded for one last shot to start. However, according to the Athletics' James Palmer, there is little interest in trading for him because...
By the way, you just said something that sounded a little dirty right there.
It's close.
Did you see what happened with Shaquille Barrett?
Yes, I did. That was hilarious.
Now, Mike, I got to ask you this question because I don't have a toddler that I know of, and Stu doesn't have one as well. When you have been changing the baby diaper, has there been any diarrhea that's come shooting out at you? Just wondering.
I like how you phrased that. It was very subtle. I had no idea what you were trying to refer to.
You didn't see the Shaq Barrett video?
No.
Oh, my God.
Wow.
Shaq Barrett. It's one of the all-time great videos. Shaq Barrett is changing. I don't know if son or daughter. I didn't see what the baby looked like. And the baby had the runs. And the baby had some diarrhea. The baby goes to poop as the baby's lying down on the table, and it shoots out like it's toothpaste out of a tube. Shaq Barrett jumps up out of his chair, and it was such an athletic thing, and avoided getting hit with the poop. So has that ever happened to you when you were changing a diaper, since you're the only one with diaper changing experience on the Infinity Sports Network?
Not like that, but not way different. I mean, I've definitely had poop all over me. A lot of pee, but not like a string of diarrhea just shooting out.
Yeah, I thought it was AI generated, if I'm just being honest. I don't understand. I've never seen poop like that, if I'm just being honest. But anyway, Stu, we get back to, like, my sister, by the way, she asked me when she goes, "Oh, you want to change your niece's diaper?" AKA she didn't want to change the diaper. I go, "No, I love my niece. I'm not the mother or the father. Therefore, if it's not my kid, unless if I'm babysitting, which I wasn't, I'm not doing diaper duty. I'm not doing that. No, thank you. Especially after that Shaq Barrett video. Even when I have a kid, I know I'm gonna have to change the diaper, but I'm gonna try to defer until the second half, multiple times. There's no doubt about that. All right, what do we got here, Stu?
All right. The Athletics' James Palmer has said that there is little interest in trading for Kirk Cousins from other teams because those teams believe that Cousins is essentially done. Onsides, offsides, Kirk Cousins will be the full-time starting quarterback somewhere before his career's over.
So you mean like for entirety of a season, right?
Yeah.
No. I don't think anyone's going to make him the full-time starter ever again. If he's starting, it's because he's a backup and somebody gets hurt, or they're just having him start a few games before a younger quarterback is ready. So Kirk Cousins will be the full-time starting QB somewhere before his career is over. I am going offside.
Offside. Now, it's a big weekend for you, Zach, as your Michigan Wolverines take on your buddy Matt Rule in Nebraska. Freshman five-star quarterback Bryce Underwood has been a bit up and down with 2 solid games, including 114 yards rushing and 3 total touchdowns last week. But, of course, he had a stinker against Oklahoma. Dylan Raiola, on the other hand, also a 5-star recruit.
Shaq Barrett stinker.
Raiola is rolling, completing over 76% of his passes with 8 touchdowns and 0 interceptions in the Huskers' 3-0 start. Onsides, offsides, Dylan Raiola will be the better NFL quarterback than Bryce Underwood.
I think Underwood's in better shape than Raiola. And I think the ceiling is higher for Underwood than Raiola. And I'm very big on Raiola to begin with. So it's not me knocking Raiola. But I think Bryce Underwood would be the better pro. So Dylan Raiola will be better NFL quarterback than Bryce Underwood. I'm going to go offside. Hey, Samter, are you on Slack? Just wonder.
I can be.
Okay. I'm going to send you the Shaq Barrett video. And I would like to see you on camera react while you open it up. So don't open it up yet. Let me get Moist Mike on camera. This is the Shaq Barrett video. I just sent it to you in video form on a tweet. Let me know when you open it up.
I have it open.
Okay. Just wait for it. Look at him fly there.
All right.
Nothing?
Oh, my Lord. He jumped.
What are you on, an 8-second delay?
Oh, wait, were we supposed to start at the same time?
Yeah.
Oh, I just started it.
Oh, yeah. That's why you were late. I was like waiting for it.
Like you don't see any of the poop because
no, you just see the picture underneath on the couch, and it is some nasty looking.
I mean,
poop.
he flew.
Mm-hmm.
Whoa.
Have you seen this video, Ak?
No, I'm going to pass.
Shaq Barrett? Nah, come on, Ak. You got to see it. Look, He's
Why?
changing the baby's diaper.
Yeah.
Just look. Ready, Ack? You got to watch it. Look at him fly out of this chair. A little diarrhea happens. All right, they're changing the diaper. Boom! Whoa! He jumped out of the chair like that.
Yeah, it's not good.
Yeah. All right, anyway. Sorry, Stu. Go ahead.
All right, so DJ Lagway had high expectations entering the season for Florida, but has not lived up to them yet, especially after that embarrassing 5-interception game last week against LSU. Lagway was on the Heisman shortlist to start the season, but has 4-star freshman Trammell Jones Jr. sitting behind him. Onsides, offsides, if Lagway continues to struggle, the Gators should see what they have in Trammell Jones.
I'm going to say onsides, especially if they fire Billy Napier. Because I think once Napier gets fired, Lagway is going to transfer in the offseason. So I would rather try somebody else. I wouldn't do it right now. I think you still got to have some confidence in DJ Lagway, even though he was horrible last week. But at the end of the season, if you get that feeling, okay, you know Billy Napier is going to be gone if you haven't fired him yet, so that means probably DJ Lagway is going to follow, then I would try what else is on your roster. Because there's going to be a lot more people to jump into the transfer portal once Billy Napier does go. So if Lagway continues to struggle, the Gators should see what they have in Trammell Jones. I'm going to go onsides there.
Oregon is up to number 6 in the AP poll despite losing star quarterback Dylan Gabriel to the NFL thanks to Dante Moore. The sophomore is completing nearly 80% of his passes with 7 touchdowns and 1 pick, moving into the top 5 in Heisman odds behind only quarterbacks Carson Beck, Gunnar Stockton, and John Mateer. Now, yesterday, former Michigan tight end and Big Ten Network analyst Jake Butt joined the show and said that Ducks coaches told him about the high praise they had for Dante Moore.
Dante Moore, that guy is a future first-round pick. They might have to go back to the portal this year because I think Dante Moore will have a serious decision to make after the season. He's a first-round talent potential, maybe top 15, top 10, and their coordinator, Will Stein, remember, he's coached Bo Nix and Dylan Gabriel. He's coached some great quarterbacks. He just flat out told us, he said, when it's all said and done here, I think Dante Moore has a chance to be the best we've ever seen. So really strong statement from the coaching staff.
Onsides, offsides, you have more faith and more to win the Heisman than Beck, Mateer, and Stockton.
I'm going to go onsides on that. So Beck's having a really good season. I still can't say it's a lock that Miami's going to win the ACC. Mateer, he's in the SEC, and I'm still wondering how great Oklahoma could be. Gunnar Stockton, I just don't know if his stats will be elite enough, but what he did last week on that 4th down play was incredible. Moore, I think, is going to put up monster numbers, and if he beats Penn State next week, that's going to really get him more juice. So I like the numbers that Moore's putting up. I will put onsides there that when you ask me, you have more faith in Moore to win the Heisman than Beck, Mateer, and Stockton.
All right, last one here. Dodgers legend Clayton Kershaw officially announced his retirement from baseball yesterday after a Hall of Fame career that included 3 Cy Youngs, an MVP, 2 World Series rings, and a no-hitter. During Kershaw's career, 2 other pitchers equaled those 3 Cy Youngs, including Justin Verlander, who also won an MVP, 2 titles, and threw 3 no-hitters.
And is married to Kate Upton.
That's true.
Let's
That's
not
very
bury
true
the
as
lead
well.
there. I would love to be Justin Verlander. That's probably a fun life. Great pitcher, and then also you're married to Kate Upton. Hella.
And then you also have Max Scherzer. He won 2 rings as well, had an MLB record tying 20 strikeouts in a game, and threw 2 no-nos. Onsides, offsides, of these 3 Hall of Fame pitchers, Kershaw was the best.
So I'm going to say onsides here. I want to say offside, but I said onsides, and here's the differentiating factor. It's the ERA. So I was really between Kershaw and Verlander and who I was going to go with, who was the best. Kershaw's ERA was 2.53. Verlander, his career ERA is 3.32. Now, Verlander had a lot more strikeouts, but I thought that was the differentiating factor to me that stood out the most. So when you ask me if Kershaw was the best out of those 3 pitchers, I would say onside. So I'm going to ask a different question, and then we'll hit the break. Onside or offside, Stu? If you had to start a big game, would it be Scherzer, Kershaw, or Verlander?
Definitely not Kershaw. I would say...
Well, actually, I didn't even ask you onside, offside, because, just...
Yeah, I understand.
Screw the onside, offside part of it.
I would say Verlander in a big game. Especially when he was in his prime, I would trust him more than the other 2.
Yeah,
for sure.
I would think that decision between Verlander and Scherzer, if I'm just being honest. And then Kershaw, even though he got a championship late, he was not good a lot in the postseason. Oh, boy. So I got to pick between Verlander and Scherzer. Both have 2 championships. Yeah, I'm going to slightly go Verlander. Verlander, Scherzer, and then Kershaw in that order. All righty, we'll take a break. When we come on back, we'll react to this news from Adam Schefter. Kyle Shanahan said it's highly unlikely Brock Purdy will start Sunday, which means it's shaping up as a second straight start for Mac Jones. We'll not only get into Mac Jones starting once again, but all these other backup quarterbacks that are now infiltrating our lives in football. We'll do that on the other side. Update time first. Here's Zach.
Infinity Sports Network Sports Flash.
And it's sponsored by Progressive Insurance. Your small business keeps you on the go. Progressive Commercial Insurance keeps your policy within reach. With their easy-to-use mobile app, learn more at progressivecommercial.com. As for the quarterbacks, as Zach just said, it looks like it's going to be another Mac Jones day this weekend for the 49ers, with Brock Purdy most likely out. Jaden Daniels will miss the first game of his young career. He'll sit out the Commanders game against the Raiders due to a sprained knee. So it'll be Marcus Mariota starting. Joe Burrow's down for a while after toe surgery. No timetable for his return has been established. It's Jake Browning for the time being. And the Vikings make it official, ruling out J.J. McCarthy. So Carson Wentz will get the start. Christian Darrisaw, however, is listed as questionable. The Broncos have ruled out tight end Evan Ingram and linebacker Dre Greenlaw against the Chargers. Parker Romo wins the Falcons' kicking job. Young Aku was released, and the Patriots list Christian Gonzalez as questionable. Clayton Kershaw's Hall of Fame career is winding down. The 3-time Cy Young Award winner announced yesterday he'll retire at the end of the season, and tonight will make his final Dodger Stadium start against the rival Giants. I'm Rich Atkin.
Hey, like us on Facebook. Our handle is INF Sportsnet. That's INF Sportsnet for our Facebook page. This is the Infinity Sports Network.
You're in a 5-minute break. Four minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Four minutes remaining. Three minutes, 30 seconds remaining. Three minutes remaining. Two minutes, 30 seconds remaining. 2 minutes remaining. One minute, 30 seconds remaining. One minute remaining. Forty-five seconds remaining. Seconds remaining. Fifteen seconds. Break ends in 5 seconds.
Hey, this is Howie. And this is Nick from the Backstreet Boys. And you're listening to the Zach Gelb Show. And guess what? Zach is back. All right.
He's live. He's nationwide. This is the Zach Gelb Show.
Oh, my God, we're back again.
All right, it is the Zach Gelb Show on the Infinity Sports Network. Here are your quarterback matchups this weekend in the NFL. We just saw Tua Tagovailoa go up against Josh Allen. The Bills win 31-21. Sunday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time, you have Jordan Love going up against Joe Flacco. You have Daniel Jones going up against Cam Ward. You have Jake Browning, against Carson Wentz. You have Aaron Rodgers of the Steelers going up against Drake May of the Patriots. Matthew Stafford, Jalen Hurts. You have Tyrod Taylor in for Justin Fields once again against Baker Mayfield. For the Raiders, you got Geno Smith up against the Commanders. Now quarterback Marcus Mariota, or as Roger Goodell said on draft night, Marcus Mariotto, because Jaden Daniels is going to be out. For the Falcons, you will have Michael Penix Jr. with that big Penix energy going up against Bryce Young. C.J. Stroud with the Texans up against Trevor Lawrence of the Jaguars. Bo Nix, maybe Bo Picks this week, up against Jim Harbaugh's team led by Justin Herbert. You then have Spencer Rattler of the Saints going up against Sammy Darnold of the Seattle Seahawks. You will have a Cowboys-Bears matchup with Dak Prescott going up against Caleb Williams. Kyler Murray, as Adam Schefter just said, will be going up against Mac Jones for Mac Jones going second week in a row. Patrick Mahomes up against Russell Wilson. And then on Monday night, big game. Jared Goff with the Lions up against Lamar Jackson with the Baltimore Ravens. So your backup quarterbacks this week, Mac, Mariota, Carson Wentz, Jake Browning, Tyrod Taylor, who are going to be starting in place of their starting quarterbacks. With Tyrod Taylor, it's Justin Fields. With Jake Browning, it's for J.J. McCarthy. For Carson, it's Joe Burrow. For Carson Wentz, it's J.J. McCarthy. Marcus Mariota, it's Jaden Daniels and Mac Jones in for Brock Purdy. So with that being said, it is time to answer Ask the Pros question of the day. It is brought to you by O'Reilly Auto Parts. And the question comes from Ryan in Portland. Zach, which backup QB starting this week do you have the most faith in? You could submit a question by tweeting at INF Sportsnet or at Zach Gelb, ZACHGELB. We're on Twitter, Instagram, and we're on TikTok at The Zach Gelb Show. Using the hashtag AskThePros. Think O'Reilly Auto Parts for all your car care needs. Get guaranteed low prices and excellent customer service from the professional parts people at O'Reilly Auto Parts. So you have two of them going up against one another. And that's Jake Browning with the Bengals, Carson Wentz of the Minnesota Vikings. Then you have Marcus Mariota going up against the Raiders, and that's with Geno Smith in that matchup. Then you have Mac Jones of the 49ers taking on the Arizona Cardinals. And then Tyrod Taylor of the Jets is going up against the Buccaneers. So which quarterback do I think will have the most success this weekend? I'm not going to take Tyrod Taylor. They're going up against the Bucs. The Bucs are at home as well. I will table for now Jake Browning and Carson Wentz because one of them has to win. Stu, you obviously have to feel good going up against the Commanders without Jaden Daniels. But then yet again, if there would be a team in the NFL that would lose to a backup quarterback, it would be the Raiders. What do you think the spread is of that game, by the way, since the Daniels injury?
I would say on the road, Raiders are favored by a point.
You think the Raiders are a favorite?
By a point, yeah.
Commanders are a 2.5-point favorite.
Okay.
Now, I don't know how to... Ooh, I kind of like the Raiders now this week. Stu's like, okay, I'll take that personally. I don't know how to take that. Is that Vegas just trying to get people, oh, well, it's the Raiders and even the Commanders, they have such a good team that they'll be fine? Or is that a little bit of a fishy line where people look at that and say, oh, Jaden Daniels is out, so, oh, wow, I'm getting points with the Raiders, so let me plus the 2.5 points there. I wouldn't take Mariota. I wouldn't take Tyrod Taylor. So it leaves me between Jake Browning going up against Carson Wentz, and then it also leaves me with Mac Jones going up against the Cardinals. Mac Jones looked good last week. I don't know how he could repeat. I think it's between Browning and Wentz. I really do. And you know what? I can't believe I'm saying this. Because if you know my history here, I am not a fan of Carson Wentz. And not only am I not a fan of Carson Wentz, when Perloff had that dopey Sports Illustrated cover here, I led the charge of us destroying and just taking apart that entire poster. But I think Carson Wentz is actually going to play the best this weekend. So it pains me to say it, and it's just for this weekend. If I had to take a quarterback that is a backup quarterback, I would take Carson Wentz. Now, Stu, I'm going to put you in the spot here.
Okay.
Samter sent me this graphic. I don't know if you saw it.
I don't think I have.
Carson Wentz will become the first player to start for 6 teams in 6 consecutive seasons. Can you name the 6 teams? And one of them, obviously, is the Vikings, right?
Right.
So can you name the other 5 teams that he started for?
All right. So Vikings, I'll try to work backwards here. Vikings, Chiefs.
Yep, last year.
Colts.
Now, the Colts were actually the first team since the team that he got drafted by. So I just gave you another team.
Eagles.
Yep. So there's
so I'm
2
missing
left.
2 more.
One you should easily get. The other one, I think it's a little tricky.
I should easily get it.
Mm-hmm.
Commanders.
Yes, that's the one that's easy. Now, here's the tricky one.
Yeah.
I don't even remember this guy being on this team, if I'm being honest.
Was he on the Panthers?
He was not on the Panthers, but not a bad guess because, the Panthers one year had Sam Darnold and Baker Mayfield on the roster, and then P.J. Walker got a decent amount of starts. He was only on this team for a year. And how many games did he start that year? He started 1 game that year.
Cardinals?
Not the Cardinals. Right ballpark, though. Right ballpark. Want to take one more guess?
What about the Rams?
Yep. That's it. How about that stat, though? So he ended in Philly in 2020, then was in Indianapolis in 2021, where he started 17 games. Then in 2022, he started 7 games. Then in 2023, 1 game with the Rams. 2024, 1 game with the Chiefs. And now he's going to make his first start for the Minnesota Vikings. The fact that he's been on 6 teams is kind of crazy. But the fact that he's at least started one game for all those 6 teams, especially when you mentioned Kansas City being one of them end of the season, okay. Rams, same thing, I believe. And then, like after the Commanders, if you would have told me he would have been making 3 consecutive seasons with starts, I wouldn't have believed, at least one start, I would not have believed that. All righty, enjoy the weekend of football. I will be back on Sunday. I'll be doing Sunday morning football from 10 a.m. to noon Eastern. I will also be doing my first Cowboys game that was scheduled. I did a little impromptu action on the opening night with the Cowboys and the Eagles. So I will be doing the studio hosting for the Chicago Bears and the Dallas Cowboys and the Compass Media Network, so you can check that out. And then on Monday, we are back for a Zach Gelb Show from 3 to 6 p.m. Eastern, noon to 3 p.m. Pacific. Big thanks to Andrew Perloff for joining us today. Big thanks to Adam Carriker as well. Stu, thank you. Samter, thank you. Ack, thank you. And most importantly, a big thank you to each and every one of you for listening, however you may do tune in to us across all of our great local Infinity Sports Network affiliates, Sirius XM Channel 375, the iHeartRadio app, the Odyssey app, streaming live on YouTube, and all of our socials. We can get us Twitter and Instagram at Zach Gelb, ZachGelb, and also on TikTok at The Zach Gelb Show. I'll talk to you on Sunday. I'll talk to you Monday. Whenever we talk to you again, we appreciate you. I'm Zach Gelb. I'm out. Bye-bye. Peace.
You're in a 5-minute break.